Let's hit.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Yeah.
Hi,
How's it
sorry.
going?
You caught us in the middle of
Good.
me
Well, yeah.
fanboying.
I asked and I wanted to know.
Perfectly fine.
I love a good
So
rant.
how is everybody doing?
Looks like everything's working.
I've been better.
Oh,
I've named
well,
Hey, Josh.
tonight's session Decadence and Dread. But that's
Mm.
pure guesswork, so I have no idea what's going to happen.
I don't
So-
I
have
do
running
like
water
your
at my house
table.
right now.
oh, jeez.
Yes, pipes froze. Ooh,
That kind of sucks.
that's not bad.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to hear running water in my house.
Yeah. That
Mm.
one thing like that goes
I'm never gonna
sideways.
get a chance to use in this campaign, but I love this shiny little
Ooh.
D20. So teeny
Yeah.
tiny.
I
Normal
will
one for
say,
scale.
I will
Well-
say, I don't like the rounded edge dice. They always have a tendency to screw me over.
Mm.
I love them. They're the perfect dice. I gotta get
I
on
love
mine.
I love the way we attach so much personality to dice. We all do.
Yeah.
These are my
Well-
Cubicle 7 dice.
You got to have different dice for different characters, right?
Yes,
Mine
that's how it
mirror.
works.
Like,
The only one I ever had was a die I bought because it was ugly, like a yellow and splattered red. And I had a friend who liked to collect ugly dice, and I was at a convention. I was going to run a game, but that didn't happen. So I ended up jumping in on a Conan game, and so I had no dice with me except the 3 I needed for GURPS because it was a GURPS game. So I had the D20 that I bought intended as a gift.
That's 2d20 system,
Oh.
right?
No, Conan, that was a 1D20. It was basically a D&D, And
Okay.
my character with that die, my character was like Death on Wheels. So
So you
I
kept
kept that
it.
die. Yeah, and I only
Oh,
used it for
yes.
attack rolls after that. Because in a Code Ed game, Death on Wheels is exactly what you want to be. Like everything was dropping dead in front of me.
There's my list.
All right.
All the shit we have to do tonight, boys.
that's what I should
So
have done today.
the question of where are we starting?
What list? Hit list?
Well, an investigative list.
Okay.
I got a whole bunch of things that probably we should think about doing.
Yeah.
We
You
left
got some
off
churches to
on
explore.
Saturday, the day after the party, the ball.
The ball.
We had gotten together to discuss a lot of stuff. We did a little research in a research library and found out more about these locations, like Maiden Castle in Dorset seems important.
It's the one I want to visit.
What's his name? Brown seems to probably have the Anzaloo tablet, and Baker's kind of like a thief, right? So he could be perfect to go steal that.
We do not know, but we suspect that Brown has the Enzilu tablet.
Yes,
That it was stolen by his followers.
It seems somewhat likely. Jacob Gwyneth is in London, the writer of that pamphlet or that book, that one that is missing the plates.
Yeah, it's it's simply called Maiden Castle. It's series 3 of the Vetusta Monumenta, which is a collection of essentially monographs on historical sites.
This is
published by Society of Antiquaries.
That's a personal thing.
This one is series 3, published 1796.
All right,
the one that you were interested in on Maiden Castle.
Yeah.
And the writer, from what you understand, Jacob Gwyneth, lives in London.
Right.
And if you pay a visit to the Society of Antiquaries, they know where he lives. Or at least they have his last known address. Because after all, they sent him a check.
Oh yeah, they have to send him. He's got a royalty check that comes every month, potentially.
Every year.
Every year. Okay.
Yeah, so they actually have his address at least as good as they know where he was living. At least last time they sent him a check.
Yeah. So we have to decide: are we splitting up, boys?
I mean,
Split up and search for clues.
Edgeworth wanted to go to Maiden Castle.
Yeah.
Somebody could go try to talk to Gwyneth.
Yeah, Maiden
I guess
Castle is in Dorset.
that's like
From
150 miles
directly
away.
from London, it's about 130 miles.
130. Okay, yeah. It's about
So it would
150
take you
from Dover, right?
about the
Where
same from Dover,
okay,
depending on
okay.
where in Dover you are.
Gotcha.
130 to 150 miles.
We
Yeah, in
want to
other words, it's not hugely far, but you could to get to Maiden Castle from London would take 3 to 4 days,
Mm.
I
depending on how fast you go. Now, see, if you were into pedestrianism, you could get there overnight.
Doctor Dr. Payne is not his con is not an 80 or a 90.
Yeah, doing the Century Walk is probably not for you. You sort of have to trade up for that.
I had an idea. Dr. Payne had an idea. Um
This say actually, since you were doing that on
who
Saturday, say Sunday at the club.
Sunday at the club, so after church on Sunday.
Yes, for those of you who attend church,
Yeah, so
or after sleeping in for those of
I'm
you
a
who don't.
good Anglican.
Yeah,
So if I spot the others, are Cameron and Collins there?
on Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
No, you won't see them there.
Okay, great. Because they're under suspicion now too from us, as far as my character's concerned.
Oh
Um,
yeah, we
if
know that they apparently were aware of the flying
oh
thing
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
and expected to see it.
They were looking at it through a telescope, I
And
believe.
controlled it.
Yeah, yeah they
They,
well, sort
We
of.
think. Well, what they say. So I'm sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead, Thomas.
to clarify, they suggested that they could control it, but that wasn't 100%.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like
the
it's
attitude one gets
a
is
wild animal.
Okay.
I was going to say it's like a wild animal. You can kind of get it to do what you want if you're smart about it,
Hmm.
like the way lion tamers work.
So
A lion is not a domesticated animal, but a lion tamer can usually get it to do what it wants.
so Baker, you saw it, and Illingsworth saw it, and I saw it. Father Brown already knows me. One of us perhaps should go and talk to Reverend Brown. It looks like it's probably got to be me. Uh,
Mhm.
and let him know that at an event that we saw it, and see what his take, or not his take, see what his opinion is on this entire thing. That's just a suggestion. I'm not keen on going back, uh, but I could do it. I have already talked to him, and if only one of us is in his sights, targeting us, so to speak, that would perhaps keep the others a little safer.
Yeah, I don't know how I would approach him without have never met him before.
Anyway, it's just a thought. What should we do? Do we need to split up?
Say, uh, I think that our endeavors are best achieved together. Uh, I mean, I think the party the other night just goes to show the kind of adversity we might face in this. And I think that there's strength in numbers, and I desperately want a rifle.
We can't very well carry a rifle around. Although, if you go to Dorset, you could go hunting. Ah,
This is true.
and take a fowling gun, perhaps, or a musket, I
Mm.
suppose. Although I suppose fowling gun would be better for bird hunting.
It depends on what you're
Yes.
after, doesn't
Oh,
it?
oh, I'm gonna go get the who's who off the shelf here in the club.
Okay.
Collins and Cameron. George Cameron, I know is his name. Um, someone ask about and find out what Collins' first name is. I don't know him very well. Would that be a breach of etiquette for someone to
No, not at
just to
all.
find out what his first name is somewhere around here?
Yeah. No, that's easy to do. Actually, I mean, he's a club member,
Yeah.
so all you need to do is check the records,
Okay.
and essentially, it's a question of just asking the staff,
Yeah. That
what do you know about Mr.
easiest
Collins? So
thing.
they won't provide personal information,
No, I just want his
but they
first name.
will provide stuff like that sort of thing. And as for Collins, his first name is George.
Right. We know he's Right Honorable George Cameron. What's Collins's
Oh,
first
you're
name?
talking about okay, you're talking about Collins, not
Collins.
Cameron.
We know
Yeah,
Cameron's first name, and
we
I'm going
know
to look
Cam.
him up in the Who's Who and get a little more information. But
Oh, sure, I get that. We can
at
get that
least we can
recorded.
learn.
But yeah, we know George. We know George's name.
We can at least like maybe figure out where his home is, like a region or a town, right? Because
Oh
that's how
yeah.
we found out where what's her
Well,
face was
well,
from.
he's in. Well, Cameron is in Burke's Peerage. You can look him up in the copy of Burke's Peerage in the club
Oh
library.
yeah, perfect. Yeah, let's do
Easy
that.
enough to do.
But
And
what's Colin's first name? Let's get that first.
Leslie.
Leslie, that's good. And then we can look him up in the Who's Who as well and see if he's in there.
Yeah.
What can we learn just basic on
Okay,
those?
so a little
What can
basic.
I
I
learn?
assume at least one of you has library use at least 25.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes,
so
mine's well over 25.
you're welcome to roll if you want to do this quickly. But if you're willing to take Sunday afternoon, there's no need to roll. So unless you have anything else
Hmm.
planned for Sunday afternoon,
I'm gonna ask what their opinions are on that. Should we try to get this as fast as we can?
Are we on a ticking clock?
Well,
not
we
at the
might be able to
moment. I
get
think.
something
Well,
else
maybe.
done today as well. I don't suppose we're
Yeah,
on a clock, are we?
that's the thing. Is if you have other things that should be done on Sunday in the afternoon,
I'm gonna use a
then
library
you'll want to wait.
use.
If you're
I'm
willing
gonna
to take the afternoon, you'll be able to accomplish this.
I'm gonna look up Collins in the Who's Who, and I'm gonna use library use for that to see if I can find it quickly.
Okay.
No, fail.
Okay.
And
So it's
pushing is
probably
the
going to
same
take
as
you,
it's gonna take all afternoon, pretty much, isn't it?
possibly. Actually, a failed push roll could also mean that something is missing.
Oh, yeah. I'm not gonna push. I'll just take time.
Okay.
I
Is that
can't
cool with
find it.
everybody then? Taking the time in the
Someone
afternoon.
look up. Someone look up Cameron in the peerage in Burke's peerage.
Okay. So the Right Honorable George Cameron is listed in Burke's Peerage. That's
Hmm.
easy. He, according to the Burke's Peerage, he is. Make sure I got that correct. His connection, I believe, is to the Duke of Marlborough, uh, loosely. So the peerage will give you the full family relation, but essentially he's a distant cousin of the Dukes of Marlborough.
Okay.
So that's why his title, Right Honourable. He maintains a
Mm-hmm.
London townhouse in Mayfair, which is a very fashionable neighborhood.
Okay.
And according to the peerage, he is not married, although he was at one point.
Hmm. Does it give her
He,
name or who she was connected
yeah,
to?
he married a daughter of the House of Hauteville, Elizabeth Hauteville.
Hautfeld?
Yeah, Hautville. It's a French name.
Ville. Hautfeld.
Lle.
H A U T.
Hautville.
Gotcha. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, Elizabeth Hauteville, who died 6 years ago. He has not remarried.
No details on that, right?
That would take a dig into old newspapers,
Right. I was just thinking about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Six
which
years
is
ago. That
also
narrows
something you
it
can do
down,
for
though.
the afternoon. Best guess, Elizabeth Hauteville apparently died of what they describe as fever,
Hmm. That's pretty vague.
and the lack of further description suggests probably death in childbirth.
Mm.
Ooh.
And since there is no listed heir, it's a good bet the
Yeah,
child did
child
not
died
survive
too.
either.
Okay, that's
So
Cameron.
you have to read between the lines to get that, but that's the most likely scenario given what's not said. Uh,
That was
this also might explain his tendency to hang around his clubs. He doesn't have much of a home life anymore.
Didn't you say he was with some woman? Indian woman?
Cameron?
Cameron, yes.
Yes.
Wasn't he was meeting an Indian woman. I thought
Yeah,
Illingsworth said that he
yes, he
was.
did.
And then
Oh,
Rajit, an Indian
yeah.
king.
Yeah,
We don't know the woman's
Cameron
name.
is that's not you won't find that in the peerage, but you
No, no.
knew
I was
that
asking. I was asking Illingsworth.
Yeah.
and that's something you can get by talking to people as well.
Okay.
That the guy they call Rajit, he is a king from India, and he is a friend of George Cameron. Although what you will not find easily is how they met.
Okay.
Because as far as we know, George Cameron has not spent much of or any time in India.
Yeah, he was stationed there. That's what he told Illingsworth.
Oh, right. Um,
Something about the sixth rifleman, or I don't remember. Uh,
yeah, that's the funny thing about that is that's not coming together well.
oh.
He said he spent time in India with the British Armed Forces.
Mm-hmm.
You're not finding any evidence that that's true.
That would be in That'd be in the peerage then, wouldn't it? Something about
Yeah,
it. Okay.
that's where first it would appear if he'd served in the armed forces, his rank would be noted in Burke's peerage, and yet there's no rank indicated. So unless he enlisted as a private
Hmm.
soldier,
Which,
that's weird.
yeah, right honorable. He would not enlist as a private soldier.
Well, he could if he chose to.
But would
It's
he?
unli-
It's
it depends.
unlikely.
Well, he might have decided. I mean, it could happen where he decided he just wanted an adventure and enlisted.
Hmm.
It's not unheard of, but it is
Interesting.
unlikely.
Okay.
So there is we can't rule out the possibility that that's what happened,
Mr.
but
Prescott.
it seems unlikely.
Mr. Prescott here at the club. He's Mr. Boring War Story. Likes to drink a lot at night, man.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, do we know much about him? Like, how much time he served in the military? Is he older than us? Is he younger than us? Is he our
can
Oh,
age?
he's
can I
considerably older.
recount? Can I recount what I remember when he prattled off when I was stuck with him
Yes,
the other
actually.
day? 'Cause he went
Yes.
off for like an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah, he did.
Was he in India?
No, he never was.
He never was in India. But he was a soldier. Probably an
But
officer.
what you will get
Let's
is
look him up.
one potential thing. No, Prescott served as a lieutenant initially in the first lifeguard, but
Oh.
it's in all of that prattling that you'll catch something that might be important because he mentions that the 6th Royal Rifles, he knew members of them when he served years ago, many years ago in the Americas. So here's the thing: Cameron said he was with the 6th Rifles,
That's it. That's right.
but if Prescott is remembering correctly, the 6th Rifles
We're
were in the
and
Americas, not India.
that son of a bitch. Okay.
Prescott, by the way, is actually a veteran of, among other things, the War of the American Revolution.
Hey, so's my dad.
Yeah, like he served in the British Army. A lot of his war stories take place in the Americas.
Okay. All right. What about Collins? Did y'all look up Collins in the Who's Who? Is he in there?
Collins is not found in Burke's Peerage.
No. But they could also be looking up Collins in the Who's Who while I'm working on Burke's Peerage, right?
Yeah, where you will find Collins is in the Who's Who, in particular for the Inns of Court,
The what?
in particular Temple Inn. The Inns
Inns.
of Court are where you go to study the law.
Oh.
In other words, Leslie
He's a
Collins
lawyer.
has been called to the bar. He is licensed to practice as a solicitor, taking his legal education at Temple Inn. He apparently doesn't work much as a lawyer, but he's legally allowed to do so.
Anything else about him?
Not much else turns up.
Odd.
Yeah,
And then he was
doesn't
we think he was actually he's in the club because Cameron is his sponsor,
Cameron
right?
sponsored him for membership, and the club's background check, for what it's worth, found nothing
Right.
to suggest that he shouldn't be a member. He's a lawyer. Uh, as far as we know, he's related to the Collins family, who are essentially
Okay.
squire class. Like his grandfather, as far as we can tell, owns an estate in Lancashire.
Collins are in Lancashire.
Yeah, so he comes from basically what we would think of as the lower end of the upper class.
Okay.
Studied law,
Hmm.
doesn't practice law, and according to the club records, which you can get to, has an income, which is probably there's no indication of source, but has an income of several £100s a year, which is probably probably a trust fund.
Okay. Okay.
In other words, he owns some wealth, which is generating interest, or he owns some land, which is generating income. In other words, he has the kind of income to consider himself a gentleman,
Gotcha.
which is why he doesn't actually work, even though he's got the credentials to get a good paying job if he wanted one.
Okay.
So clearly, he's the kind of guy who's not going to get any actual work unless he runs out of money.
Mm.
And whatever his source of income is, it's paying his bills for the present. Because one thing the club will do is make sure you can afford the membership dues.
Oh yeah.
So they looked into his income.
So he's Bertie
The
Wooster.
report does not indicate where the income comes from. It only indicates that he has
Right. That he
sufficient income.
has it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. So.
And since we know he doesn't have a job, that income is coming from a fund or land or something. If it was just gifts from his grandfather, the club would notice that because that's precarious.
Oh yeah. Because when
Mm.
grandfather dies, potentially the money goes elsewhere.
Our grandfather decides he doesn't like him anymore.
Oh, that's true too. Well, who
Yeah,
could not
so
like Mr. Collins?
the point is that his income, the club considers his income secure in his own name enough to not have that bar him up the opportunity for membership.
So what should we do, gentlemen?
That will take you basically through Sunday dinner
Right.
to get all of that stuff.
Okay.
Hmm.
And
I
unless you're
still
doing
want to visit
anything
the
Sunday,
castle.
what's that?
Say again.
I still want to visit the castle, but we do need to figure out the order of operations because we definitely have to visit the church
Yep.
and find the
That's
tablet.
probably on me. You're connected. You haven't seen the thing, but I could go talk to Reverend Brown about the thing I saw at the
I
bar.
have seen I have seen the tablet. No, I was working on it.
You've seen it, yes. Yeah, you saw
Yeah,
it. You were working on the
Yeah.
ends of the tablet. You were trying to translate it and disappeared, and you couldn't finish.
yeah.
But
I
I've seen
might be able to.
the thing in the sky, just as Miss
Yes.
Delacourt. How is Miss Delacourt? How is she?
Uh, have you spoken to her over the weekend? Well, it was Friday, so did you
Friday was
speak
the
to her at all on,
party. Yeah.
yeah, on Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah, I would have. I would have.
How is she?
Actually, no. I think Connor would have given her some time. Uh, last
Go time man.
last the, the party was a bit much, and I would rather like give her some space before coming back.
Okay,
At least a weekend.
that's fine.
I don't want to
Although
seem obsessive.
you will receive a letter on Saturday in the afternoon.
Bum bum
That's
bum.
basically a thank you from her that she feels better after this weekend. She doesn't. It says almost nothing else. It's basically like a
Mm.
one-line note. I mean, you know what she's talking about, but
Do you
she's not putting that on paper.
do you mention it to me when I ask how she's doing?
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
Oh,
I'll mention
splendid!
it.
You should bring her
And in
around for
fact,
supper one night.
you'll find the letter waiting
Well,
at the Mountbatten Club, which is where she sent it to.
She
hmm,
doesn't know where you live. No, you gave her a
Nope.
card, didn't
I
you?
just
Yeah, but
At
she
some
also
point.
knows you're a member of the club,
Okay.
and I think based on what happened Friday and the way you guys were talking, she guessed you'd find it there, that you'd be there Saturday, not at
Okay.
home, and so
hmm.
sent it there instead of to your house. Smart move.
We will need to invite her into our conspirings at
I
some point.
believe we should invite Lavinia as well.
Mm. God.
And I had thoughts of talking to Mr. Victorino at some point. There was some speaking of wrestling angels and that kind of thing. I don't know. It's just a thought. It was a passing
Yes.
thought.
Oh, Mr. Victorino doesn't know about wrestling angels, but he can wrestle anybody else.
Well, yeah, that's why.
Anything mortal,
That's
he's
why we
willing
want
to
a
wrestle.
friend who can actually fight, because we're all just gentlemen and
Yeah,
not really very good
Bringing
at
in a
fighting.
bringing along bringing along a pugilist would tilt the odds in our favor should we get in a skirmish when trying to retrieve the tablet.
Do,
true.
do you think it'd
I
be
hope everyone's
advisable to?
studying
Oops,
off
I'm
the.
sorry.
I hope everyone's been studying off of the gift we received at the party.
Oh yeah, could I have been reading that in my
Yes.
spare time?
Yeah,
I would
it's
really
gonna
like
No.
to
take
learn
it's
to
gonna,
to
it's gonna
pugilize at
take
some
yeah
point.
it's gonna take a month or two to
Okay, yeah.
to actually gain benefits from it. But yeah, you can start reading it.
Yeah,
And then more, it's really not it's not a difficult read. The real issue with time is to actually take time to do the exercises
ooh, I
that
can
it
set up something in
advises.
the shed
Yeah,
next to the balloon.
because it's in principle it's pretty simple to read. In
Oh,
practice, of course, it's a matter of actually doing the exercises.
should would
Mm.
it be prudent to for Dr. Blythe to meet Miss Delacourt? I'm asking Edgeworth this. I'm asking his opinion on this, as they have both
But
had this strange fear of the sky. I have not felt that. Have either of you two gentlemen felt that, Mr. Illingsworth, Mr. Baker? That
No,
extreme terror at the sky?
I mean,
I felt it.
Do you
it was
still?
definitely disturbing seeing something come out of it, but no, I don't have any long term effects from it.
Did you feel like the thing was looking at you?
I didn't want to test my luck.
See, I looked at. I
Yeah,
didn't think it was looking directly at me.
yeah,
Illingsworth?
I don't think it was looking at me either. Say, I'm just looking at my character sheet. I just see 1 point off, so like I don't think it was that traumatic for him.
All right. So, as Edgeworth has said. Oh, and Edgeworth, I never got your answer. What do you think about introducing Blythe to Miss Delacourt? Do you think that's a good idea, bad idea? I don't know.
honestly, I think a good idea just for her psychologically to understand there's someone else who is experiencing the same sort of fear response. But that raises a larger question. Should we be including Dr. Blythe in these conversations? After all, we are trying to retrieve his tablet.
That
Or
you
rather,
know him
the tablet.
best of all of us. I would say that's your choice. Blah. You know what I'm trying to say.
What would be my, what would be my Edgeworth's general understanding of Dr. Blythe's constitution? His sort of
Oh, he's a hard man to read. He's very private, has almost no family life you're aware of, and has a reputation for being perfectly capable of working his desk for 18 to 20 hours at a stretch. So, in terms of constitution, he's got that going for him, if that's a good thing.
at the very least, he might be able to shine more insights into the ruins we'll be exploring.
I mean, he's also he's not an archaeologist; he's a linguist primarily. And if Oxford puts up with him, and they do put up with him, it's because he's arguably the finest classical languages scholar currently alive.
I misremembered.
Yeah, he's a member of the Society of Antiquaries. He's a member of the Occidental Society, capable of working in languages like Sanskrit. Like he's capable of translating languages that most people in England don't even know exist. And word is he's even preparing a dictionary, a translation dictionary of Akkadian. Like at a certain level, the man is quite the genius. He's also difficult to deal with personally. And if he's a member of the Mountbatten Club, it's because it's the club for people who don't like other clubs.
It's more intellectual than athletic. And aren't a lot of
Yeah,
clubs like, let's go play cricket and that kind of
well,
thing?
most clubs are more social than
Oh
athletic.
yeah, social. Okay, yeah.
He's not. Notice that the Mountbatten has an excellent library. Notice you haven't seen Blythe the times he's been here talking to anybody. He
Just
shows up
looking at books.
as much as is necessary to avoid people saying bad things about him, and often I suspect because his maid reminds him to. I'm pretty sure without someone to remind him, he would forget to do that too.
Hmm.
So,
All right.
by the way, from a meta modern perspective, he's almost certainly autistic.
Hmm.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
diagnosis doesn't exist yet.
Yeah. He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, So people think of him as an oddball who can get a lot of work done and forgets to engage in social niceties.
So it's my opinion, gentlemen. Tomorrow we should split up. I have some time in the afternoon. I think I should pay another visit to Reverend Brown and tell him what I saw and ask him his opinion on that and just see what he says. I think Edgeworth, you should talk to Lavinia and Dr. Blythe, maybe, and Miss Delacourt, and see about getting them together. I look at Illingsworth and Baker. I I'm trying to figure out which one of them is more well read. Uh, and I'm coming up with like equal signs. Mr. Illingsworth, Mr. Baker, why don't you go in search of Jacob Gwyneth at his publishing house? And he's the one who wrote about the about Maiden. Is it Maiden?
Maiden Castle.
Maiden Castle. And see if you can learn from his publishers what his address is. We could perhaps all visit him together tomorrow evening or sometime later in the week. This is just an idea, gentlemen. I'm by no means in charge of any of you, of course.
Yeah, and finding out his current address is going to be an operation of just a few minutes.
Oh,
basically, it's just a matter of dropping by the Society of Antiquaries.
Are either of you any good at
acquiring?
At research, like in as in like finding books and finding papers and that kind of thing?
No.
Edgeworth, yeah, you could go then as well. We need to look up, see what we can find out about Elizabeth Hautville, Cameron's wife who died. That was 6 years ago, so it shouldn't be too hard to find something in the Times or the this or the that or the one of the dozen other papers in London at the time.
Yeah, the Mercury and the Times are your best bets.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking the Times mainly. And then we get together tomorrow night and we compare notes.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, unless someone has other ideas, yes.
Would you like some company, Dr. Payne?
I would love some company.
I mean, I could go with you, as I could also bear testament to seeing the creature as well.
If you wish, it's a very dangerous neighborhood. I would love some company, but at the same time,
all the more reason two of us should at least
of course.
Be there. Then.
My only thought on that is it
safety and numbers and all that.
Sorry,
safety and numbers and all that.
Safety and all that, yeah. But is it? That's up to you, unless you feel it prudent to keep secret from this possible thief and your identity at this juncture. That's my only thought. He already knows me. I saw the thing. I am no more endangering myself, I don't think. I would hate to endanger others, but I would love your company at the same time. So however you feel about that, the fewer of us that he knows about, because I'm certain he's at the center of this. I'm certain. Mr. Baker could come too if you want. But again,
yeah, I understand your concern. But yes, just should something arise, I welcome
your company. I'm free. Most of tomorrow afternoon is when I was planning on going. I have some appointments in the morning.
I can handle myself in a fight, if need be.
I'll just keep in mind, Mr. Oh, what the fuck is his name? Yeah. Mr. Stern, Mr. Who was the jerk with the knife?
Mr. Grave.
Mr. Grave carries a knife. Keep that in mind.
Although I do prefer not to get into fisticuffs.
I'm looking at you
no fisticuffs.
Could you further elaborate how you'd be good in a fight then? I'm very curious now.
I can handle a spear and a blunderbuss, or rifle.
That I don't think you can walk around London.
Probably not, but yeah.
2 centuries out of date for that, my friend.
Yeah. Although
not when it comes to
Of course, if you pack a pistol, no one will notice.
That's what I'm planning on doing. I will be packing a pistol.
Yeah,
I say, well, I didn't see any
Yeah.
spears at the church
yeah.
that you could
Remember,
handily grab.
Limehouse is the kind of neighborhood where you're far more likely to be robbed than murdered.
Oh yeah, I know, but for when Mr. Graves attacks us both because we're snooping too much
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah. Now,
then
Mr.
yeah, I would
Graves is a
like.
different issue,
Are you a
and
good runner, sir?
we're assuming that while he
What's
carries
my
a knife and
movement?
is a tough guy, he's probably about as bulletproof as everybody else,
We can only
which is to
hope.
say, not.
Where is movement on this
Movement's down at the
sheet?
bottom right.
There it is. There it is. I see it. I'm all right.
All right, same here. Um, Mr. Baker, you're welcome to join us as well if you wish. Um, Perhaps you can go to the publishing house in the morning. You two gentlemen, we can meet for lunch, and then we can go over to the church. Mr. Edgeworth, you're willing to. You're more than willing. Well, I'm more than willing to have you join us, but I still think we shouldn't all reveal ourselves to Reverend Brown. I feel like he is very caught up in all of this. I could be mistaken.
We need not reveal ourselves, but we could be nearby in case something goes awry.
You will be revealing yourself if you come into Limehouse down that neighborhood, unless you are
Yeah,
willing to dress as beggars or very, very poor people.
he's very popular in the area,
Uh,
and strangers will
I
probably be
go there
noticed, and
myself
someone will
That's
probably tell him.
uh, so. Yeah, they're gonna know.
Yeah,
Is basically what I'm saying. If you come just to and like hang out in a doorway or what, whatever,
We'll say like
it's
mm,
gonna be
if Baker,
suspicious if you show up when we show up.
right?
yeah.
If Baker
I'm
wants,
okay with going into the publishing house to do some research.
okay.
Okay,
Well, the newspaper
yeah,
too.
we
Try
can do
check the Times
yeah.
for Cameron's wife.
Okay.
That's
So
Elizabeth
two of
Hutt.
you are going. So two of you on Monday. Then two of you are going to Limehouse to the church. What used to be
We're
St. Anne's
not going
Church.
till the afternoon. We're gonna meet for
Okay.
lunch. I'm gonna at least suggest a place to meet for lunch, and then they can, if they want, go in the morning and do things. Edgeworth could go in the morning to talk to Delacour.
Okay.
Whenever you guys want to do stuff, and then after lunch, that's when we're gonna
So
head into fucking Limehouse.
so Mr. Baker is going to go do some research. Mr. Edgeworth is going to. Where are you going again?
The publisher.
believe we're going to the
Oh,
publishing house and the paper to look for that information that
Okay. So,
Doc,
like I said, first thing is
Dr.
easy.
Payne.
Society of Antiquaries, London, will get you Mr. Gwyneth's address, which is apparently he lives in an apartment above the Angel Pub in St. Giles without the fields, which is a, let's just put it, should we say, it is not the worst neighborhood in London. It borders the worst neighborhood in London.
It
If
borders
you thought
Limehouse.
Limehouse and Whitechapel were awful, try Seven Dials. St. Giles borders Seven Dials, and Seven Dials is widely regarded as the epitome of awful.
So we will get murdered if we go into Seven Dials,
Um,
or we might, more likely to get murdered.
Seven Dials, you are more likely to be straight up murdered for your boots than
Oh,
probably anywhere else in London. Yeah, the place is it's dangerous. So he's not in that neighborhood, but you can practically piss into into Seven Dials from his apartment. It's that close. So not a nice place to live, and above a pub, no less. Guy's not doing well.
oh no.
As for digging up newspapers and whatnot, that'll take a library use roll on both of your parts to see what you can locate before lunch.
Have
Go, go,
a
go.
pretty good library
Go,
use.
I'll
go,
be right
go,
back,
go,
guys.
go.
Mr. Baker, this was you too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So library use is what you'll want here.
All right. I gotta check off a couple things.
I take
Pretty
it that
good
didn't.
library use, but I don't think the 99 I rolled is going to be
Damn
helpful
it.
for
Nope,
that.
probably not.
I am regular success.
Okay, so Mr. Edgeworth is unfortunately not particularly helpful. And in fact, you will find yourself sort of going down a bit of a rabbit hole,
Oh God, that's
reading
all
up
we
on,
do.
on something on the Delacourt family, which turns up to be nothing, and then something on ballooning, which turns out to be interesting and completely irrelevant. So, but by the time lunch comes around, you've read several interesting articles on the science of ballooning, none of which matter much right now. On the other hand, they were interesting. and then it's lunch, and you've taken up your morning, and it's one of those like, oh, that was fascinating. We got to go. Wait, what? What time is it?
Didn't Baker
Oh,
make his roll?
Baker, on the other hand, will
Oh,
get
okay.
something useful out of this. Yeah, no, one of them got one of our 99 gets you. That was interesting and completely irrelevant. You
Had a
get
good
caught up in
morning, though.
reading
Nice
stuff.
morning.
Yeah, it was a pleasant morning reading stuff that was interesting.
Oh.
Just the early version of the Wikipedia rabbit hole. You start reading stuff that's interesting, and then it's 2 hours later, and you've done nothing you meant to do.
Oh, this is a series. I have to find the next paper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As for the Houtville family, they are ancient nobility. Like, they trace their lineage back to the followers of William the Conqueror. You know that you find this out easily because they are really fucking proud of it, and can't go 10 minutes without mentioning it. So, they're those people. They regarded Cameron, apparently, as an acceptable match. Uh, Society papers suggest that their marriage was not a friendly one. And if you read between the lines, one gets the sense that George Cameron was abusive.
Mm.
And now it starts to look like, was it childbirth?
Mm-hmm.
Or did he have something to do with that? Nobody would ever dare say such a thing out loud. But read again what isn't there, and another picture starts to emerge. As for Elizabeth herself, there's almost nothing to be found. No surprise. She's the younger daughter of an ancient family whose only real public appearance is making a debut and being married.
And having babies.
Yeah. Also, there's the one that killed her was the second. George Cameron has a son.
Ooh.
Is there a name?
Ethan.
Ethan.
We haven't
And
met
from
an
what?
Ethan, have we?
What's that?
Have we met an Ethan?
No.
Okay.
Well, the child was born. His wife died 6 years ago. The child was born a couple of years before that, so Ethan would probably be 8 or 9 years of age now. Actually, you can find a birth announcement. There it is, confirming that Ethan will be 9 later this year. So if you haven't met him, it's because, he doesn't live in London and is 8 years old.
Where did we find Cameron? Duke of Marlborough. Where do the Marlboroughs live?
Marlborough.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Their family name is also a place name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid.
His connection to them is, I said, tenuous. He's like a third
Right, because
cousin.
he's the right honorable.
Yeah,
But
not close enough to hold another title.
We only found out that he had a London address in Mayfair, a townhouse
Which he
in
does.
London.
Yeah. And Ethan
And that's
does
the
not
only
live there.
that's the only address we learned from Who's Who or from basic
That's the only
club
address
rooms.
listed in Brooks Peerage.
Okay, peerage, right?
Yeah. Probably because when he goes out to the country, he probably stays at the estate of
In
his first
Marlborough.
cousin or his grandfather.
There's a bunch of
In other
those
words,
scattered.
he doesn't own a country estate on his own, but he has access to several of them, but that are owned by his relatives.
What are chances that
So the only property he owns is the Mayfair townhouse.
What are the chances of the Hotvilles having kept possession of the child? Any?
The
This,
child,
this is all out of character.
Ethan Cameron, as far as you can tell, lives at the moment at Punxsutawney boarding school, which is basically Scotland.
Is it anywhere near the fuck? Annandale? Strath Annandale?
About 50 miles.
That's
So
not
near in a
terrible.
relative sense. But then again, everything in Scotland is pretty much near everything else in Scotland.
Okay. I was just
Scotland's
curious.
not that big. There's only a limited distance you could go, and no longer while still being in Scotland.
Okay. Is that all we get for now? And then
Yeah,
we
and
meet for lunch?
Punxsutawney, by the way, is not actually in Scotland. It's in England, but it's close enough that you could practically throw a stone and hit Scotland from it.
Okay.
Oh, and apparently the kids get occasionally to go on a field trip to see Hadrian's Wall,
Ooh.
which tells you how far north Punxsutawney is.
Uh-huh.
You can walk to a part of Hadrian's Wall from there. So that's what the two of them accomplished. So lunch.
Lunch. You guys tell us everything?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sharing what you know there. Good.
So how's Miss Delacour? I ask Edgeworth um, once Baker tells us information and Connor remains very quiet, eating his or whatever, however you want to act.
Did you call on her on Monday morning? I thought you were joined him for research,
He did join him for research, but
and
originally
then
I
got
said you
lost.
should go talk to Miss Delacour, see if you get
Yeah.
together with Blythe, talk to Vivian, all this other stuff.
I
So then
was gonna do that, but then we kind of did the research
that's
thing, and
fine.
like,
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's why I
And you kind
asked.
of got caught up reading about ballooning.
My character assumed that's what you were doing.
Mr.
So how's
Payne,
Miss Delacour?
Mr. Payne, I appreciate your enthusiasm endlessly.
Oh,
There's no
thank you.
but.
How
You know what the
kind.
worst part of this is?
Hmm.
With the 99 kind of critical failure thing? If Miss Delacour was still interested in ballooning, you would totally have something to talk about with
Oh
her
my
now.
gosh. You could get her
Oh, you
interested in
so
ballooning
would.
again. You get her
Oh, this
back
would
on
be
that
so
horse,
useful under other
baby.
circumstances.
We might get her
I've
back on
got
that
a,
horse,
I've
though,
got a
remember?
small list of
Yes.
interesting articles.
Did
Yeah.
Edgeworth pick up enough that he might be able to assist some balloonist at this point?
Not
There's
in
not
just
enough in the paper.
reading articles.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
no.
I was just curious if
No,
maybe
no,
like, oh
no.
yeah, that's that, and that's what that's called, and this is what this called.
Yeah. Although you do now know the names of some of these things,
Yeah,
so at
Edgeworth, you
least
got a
you have
name.
a better sense of how balloons work.
I'd show up to my first ballooning uh, trip with a little manual.
All
You'll have to
right,
write that
so
one
I
yourself.
asked you how Miss was Miss Delacourt because my character did not know the plan had changed.
Yeah.
I will.
How is she though?
I will call on her when I get back.
Oh, you haven't called on her yet. It's been 3 days, man. She's gonna think you're not interested
I'm
anymore.
nervous.
You're
She's
nervous?
very pretty.
Yes, she's very pretty. You've got to strike the iron while it's hot. So go talk to her this afternoon, man. Just reassure her. You don't have to make love to her. Just reassure her.
I would not. No, whoa.
And you realize when I say make
That's
love, it's like
ridiculous.
woo her
Yeah,
in the current
although
vernacular, not pound her.
that is not
Ah.
clearly what the waiter thought, by the way, who gives you a pair of raised eyebrows as he walks by.
Oh, that's fine. Ah,
We are in a public space.
Yeah.
Mind yourself.
well, I told him not to.
Yeah, still, the waiter will give you the look.
Anyway,
Like he's going to pretend he didn't hear that and keep doing his job.
so are you going to talk to her this afternoon then?
As I will talk to her this afternoon, I do think arranging a meeting between her, her aunt, and Dr. Blythe is a smart move
Well, set it
with
up.
with the four of us, so that we can coordinate and plan our next steps
Set it up.
after we you visited the church.
Perhaps a dinner party. I'd rather
A
keep
dinner party.
Rose out of this discussion. We need a private dinner party. Where do you live, Edgeworth? Do you have a house here in town?
I do. I live with my family.
Oh yes, you don't get along with them, do you? Wasn't that didn't that come out at some point? How his father? We knew a little bit. His father is kind of not doesn't care for him or something like that.
If,
I wouldn't say that out loud
if
then. If
possible,
um,
yeah.
Yeah.
If possible, I would rather not have the dinner at my home.
Baker,
It's hmm?
do you have a home, Baker? Where
Oh,
do you
Um,
stay here in London?
um, I do have a home. It's not with my father, but I do use the family money to pay for it.
Well, perhaps you could host the dinner party. I know Illingsworth's staying here. There's
So,
no.
so you probably maintain a townhouse then in London as well. What's your credit rating?
My credit rating?
Yeah.
Um, Excuse me. I put spending level 80.
Well, what's your credit rating
It should be
score?
on the front of your sheet, on the left side.
Left side, credit rating.
Yeah, credit rating. It's above Cthulhu Mythos.
Below climb. Yeah. It's hard.
I don't think I calculated that.
You don't calculate it. It's a skill. Look at your skill list.
Is there nothing there?
No.
He might
It
have,
says
but you have 80 under your
I have, for some reason,
spending level.
spending. Don't know.
That's probably you probably wrote it there instead of on the front of the page. Is your character wealthy?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he just wrote it on the back instead of putting it under credit rating.
Okay, so credit rating is probably 80 is probably
80,
credit
so
rating.
that's a load of money.
Yeah, so in fact, not only do you maintain a townhouse, it's probably in Mayfair. One of the most fashionable neighborhoods in London.
Could you host Baker? My character assumed Baker was not very rich at all. But when he says he has a house in Mayfair, I'm like, oh, how nice.
Yeah, I'm a bachelor.
Could you host a small dinner party?
I could.
Just for us, and if Edgeworth could invite Delacourt and Dr. Blythe and Miss Lavinia.
You've certainly got the resources to do that if you wish to.
Perhaps we could put all the cards on the table with this small group.
I'll begin making the arrangements for the invitations
What day is good
as
for you,
soon as
Baker?
we. Question.
Baker, what day? What day would be good for you?
What day is what is it currently?
We're
like?
Monday. It's Monday.
It's Monday.
I believe we're into April by this point.
Oh, are we? Okay.
Yeah, about a month and some in.
Josh opens up his real world schedule.
Well, I was gonna suggest Friday, but that seems too far.
Friday is also the
Wednesday?
day, they hold their services at the Church of Starry Wisdom.
Yeah, right after dark. So if we want
to, you don't want to have anything else
if we want to deal
Friday.
with that, then this week, then we probably should hold off till hold Friday off. What about Thursday? What about
Thursday work?
Thursday, Baker?
Thursday should work.
Okay. So just me a matter of making sure it's set up by then.
Just a couple of days. Small dinner party. I'm not going to tell Rose about it. She'll assume I'm at the club.
Okay. So a couple of you then are going. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I would also start looking into as we are going to start exploring areas where we could be potentially in danger. Perhaps we should start looking into arranging armaments, not necessarily to carry into the church, but just to have at our disposal should we need them.
I'm armed, by the way, Kevin.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's in my pocket.
There's no rules or regulations regarding the purchase of weapons. It's just a matter of money.
Yeah,
But it's still distasteful to carry a rifle around London or a spear or something like that.
You will attract the attention of the wrong people carrying a visible weapon. That's why pistols are favored for this purpose.
Right.
And of course, the sword cane is very much a thing.
Oh yeah.
The one oddity when it comes to concealable weapons is the knife is considered a lower class weapon. You risk hurting your reputation if you're known to make use of a knife.
Right. But we have a knife for other stuff.
Whereas the club is a gentleman's weapon. So the sword cane, the pistol, the club, basically anything that isn't a knife is fine. The knife is just associated with the lower class. Someone who carries a knife is almost certainly a low class person.
Would like a trudgeon be a thing in this time period?
Yeah, it's a club.
Yeah. I know it was a club. I just know it's like
a
specific type of club.
Yeah, often referred to as a life preserver.
Okay.
It's basically the version, the one you see that London policemen carry.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was
saying. Same club.
Okay. Yeah.
They're also used. The odd thing is, That's the weapon often used by servants, and sometimes used by the upper class too.
Oh shit.
Hmm.
And of course, the sword cane is totally socially acceptable at every level.
Edgeworth, you wanted to go to Dorset. That's at least a week there and back.
Yeah.
Um.
So you may want to talk to Mr. Gwyneth before you do that then.
Oh yes. Why don't you go talk? Oh no, wait, Mr. Baker.
Hmm?
Could you go talk to Mr. Gwyneth for us? You found out his address, you said.
Yeah. Above the Angel Pub in St. Giles.
In a terrible neighborhood, next door to the worst neighborhood in all of London.
Yep.
If you have the afternoon free.
Yeah.
As Mr. Edgeworth
Put in
is going
perspective,
to talk to Miss Delacourt and Mr. Illingsworth and I once we
50 years later, a Seven Dials basement will remain English slang for the worst thing you can do to a person.
Seven Dials basement.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the worst possible place to live in the universe.
Oh, gotcha. Could you talk to Mr. Gwyneth? We're looking for the plates from the third monograph about Maiden Castle.
Yeah, which remember were never published.
Right, and if he has them, if you could take a look at them. Can you draw at all, Mr. Baker? Or can you trace?
I can draw.
Or perhaps you could purchase
I mean,
purchase those plates from him, or purchase copies of the plates of, or I don't know.
I'll
They seem
try.
important. The problem
Okay,
is
so
Edgeworth is the one who knows what the tablets actually look like. He's the one who needs to compare them to the plates.
okay,
also
I
true.
just have a question. What are you talking about when you say like a plate? I don't know what you're. Is
Color
it like
pictures. It's a color
Like a-
pictures.
The original would
not
be
like the actual printing plate though?
No.
No. Okay.
well, that's
I-
the original would have been a color, usually color illustration.
Yeah,
Although
color
actually many of
illustration.
these are black and white illustrations
Yeah,
that are intended to be printed from.
yeah. These are the
And when they
originals.
appear in books, they're often full page illustrations.
Okay, but that's what he's referring to as a plate, then, right? He's not
Yeah.
actually talking to the actual like plate. That
Well, this is the
would
the proofer
would be
bronze
used for the
printer.
printing process.
It's
Yeah.
not a
Exactly.
printing plate. It's not a piece of metal
Okay.
or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what, well, as far as you know, and I mean, we won't know until we speak to Mr. Gwyneth. The plates for Volume 3 of the Vestuta Monumenta were never printed. The
Right.
printer instead double printed the Volume 2.
From the volume before.
Yeah. And so Volume 3 on Maiden Castle was issued without illustrations. So you can buy a copy from the Society of Antiquaries, but it is the only one in the series that contains no illustrations.
Because But now,
And
here's a question.
that was a printer's mistake.
Edgeworth knows what the Anzaloo tablets are. We think the plates might have pictures of something that resembles the Anzaloo tablets or something Babylonian, right? Isn't that what
Possibly.
we thought? Possibly. I mean, there was a
Well,
link
remember,
there.
the Enzalu tablet has no, as far as we know, has no pictures. It's
No, that's
simply
not what I'm
white.
saying. I'm saying if these things somehow resemble the Anzaloo tablets or have something to do with them, Edgeworth is the only one who will recognize that in our group because he's the only one who has seen the Anzaloo tablets. Is that correct?
Possibly,
Okay.
probably. Yeah.
So,
Although the Maiden Castle inscriptions probably have no writing
okay.
because
Just
Maiden
pictures.
Castle is a Neolithic structure. It exists before writing existed in the British Isles.
Okay.
And the Enzalu tablet is a written source.
So
It has no picture.
it doesn't necessarily matter if Edgeworth goes.
Not particularly. One is
Okay,
one is
okay.
a written document, the other is pictures.
Since I see, I'm not really clear on what's important about Maiden Castle. I've forgotten how it relates to all
let's
this.
refresh that. One of you, when you went to what was St. Anne's Church, you saw the image of what they said was Thoth or Zothakwa.
And that's supposed to be it.
Hmm.
So I'm the one
And
who's the common factor there.
the antiquaries suggested that the Zothakwa figure appears in the architecture of two other churches.
Okay.
One of which was at Avondale on Strath,
I don't have any.
and then there was the suggestion that the cult of Zothakwa was depicted at Maiden Castle.
Okay.
In other words, evidence that the cult of Zothakwa reached England by 716 to 1700 BC. around the time of the Enzilu tablet. So if the illustrations from Maiden Castle are 16 to 1700 BC, they are contemporaneous with the Enzilu tablet.
Okay, so
they're not going to contain the same information. One is written, one is pictures, but they may belong to the same era.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if Baker goes by himself. There's no real connections to anything anyone else has seen up to this point. I'm going to describe what I saw in the church to you, Baker. The on the wall, the Thoth figure, or it was on, yeah, it was behind the altar, I believe, and all that stuff. And just in case there is a resemblance to what is on the plates, if you can even see the plates. Is that all right? Are you comfortable going to St. Giles without the fields?
I think I can manage.
All right.
All right. So we have 3 directions then.
Yeah.
Okay. So start with probably the easier one, Mr. Edgeworth's trip to the Delacourt house.
Woo!
So you have arrived. On the one hand, you've arrived without sending a calling card in advance, which is technically a breach of etiquette. On the other hand, the door is answered not by a servant, but by a man in a fashionable suit, brightly colored green coat, who looks like he was exiting when you knocked. As in, he was on his way out, and then you knock, and he opens the door, not expecting to find someone on the other side of it.
Oh, good afternoon.
Oh, excuse me. And then he stops, like, I beg your pardon, who are you? As in, he's halfway past you before he remembers to ask.
Oh, I'm Connor Edgeworth. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr.
Delacourt, Louis Delacourt.
Oh, my apologies.
Oh, not at all. Stuart, a Mr. Edgeworth here. Thank you. Nice to meet you, sir. And he
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
makes his way around the corner to the stable to get a horse. He is going somewhere on the clock.
See.
Like, he does not stick around beyond the mere pleasantry of exchanging hellos. He's on his way to wherever he's going.
Well, if things keep going with Miss Delacourt, I just met her dad.
That's not her dad. That's her brother.
No? Her brother. My mistake. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh.
So now we have a face to put to Louis Delacourt.
Louis Delacourt, right.
Yep.
Womanizer, yes. I remember now.
Stuart.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wonder if his haste has to do with that. Stuart, on the other hand, is clearly a servant and shows you into the study to wait and says that he will inform Miss Delacourt that you're here.
Absolutely.
But it's actually Lavinia who will make an appearance first, who comes into the study, closes the door, first looking out to see if any of the servants are eavesdropping. And then, I'm surprised, and I have to admit, she says, slightly pleased that you were forward enough to show up without sending a card first.
It seems that time was of the essence, and the pleasantries. No. Oh,
time is of the essence. You do not mean what I fear. No. My dear niece wouldn't be quite so foolish, would she?
Oh, no.
Just gone on, right?
No. Haha.
Good. Very good.
No.
Thank God for that. You guys did just catch on to what they were saying, right?
Yes.
They've been talking about talking about wooing and marriage. He just came in and said time is of the essence. The most common reason time is of the essence is because somebody knocked somebody up.
Yes.
And they better arrange a marriage fast so the kid is legal.
I got that the moment you said that, and I was just like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, that was where her mind went
Ah,
first,
Oh
and
my
she's
gosh,
very relieved to know that is not the case.
what a dirty old lady.
Well, it's the most common reason someone would say that.
They've never been alone together ever. Not even
Um,
at the ball. She got pregnant by touching your
people,
hand. That has been known to
and
happen.
the funny thing about it is, people who want to find a way to do that, Lavinia is enough of a realist. She knows full well if people want to find a way to hook up, they're gonna. All the rules and regulations and social niceties aside, people who want to hook up are gonna.
Yeah, there was some times where Lavinia was not around her, so
Yeah, and she's happy to know that that was not the case, and
anyway.
world savvy enough to know that it could have been.
Anyway, yeah.
no. What I've come to discuss, it has to do with the uh, anxieties Miss Delacourt has been exhibiting about her passion and
Right.
the issues of her last fateful uh, ballooning trip.
But what was spoken of on Friday?
Yes.
She is
Uh,
doing
I
somewhat better since that evening, to be honest.
Well, then I hope the news I bring will hearten her spirits. We are arranging a dinner on Thursday night um, to compare notes, share information, and plan the next steps. And I thought it prudent to invite both you and Miss Delacourt, uh, as the more people, the more perspectives we have, the better.
That sounds lovely. You'll send a card with the appropriate information.
Absolutely.
Excellent. And then there's a knock on the door. Excuse me a moment. It's Stuart again. The gentleman from Mercy is here. Excuse me a moment.
I
Are you gonna do a little spying?
Ooh, that's a good question. Uh, what's my listen?
Listen
What's
would be
best?
safe because you can listen without having to open the door. Spot
Mhm.
hidden risks the possibility of being seen.
My listen's bad.
Or open enough of a crack to see.
My spot hidden is good. You know what?
Well,
I'm going to listen. Just I'm gonna listen just because I don't know if this is critical information, but still good to have. And I'd rather not risk the relationship with the Delacourts at the moment.
okay, so listen. Yeah, listen involves no risk at all. You simply stand by the door and be quiet.
Mhm. Phil.
Okay. It's what you can hear is muffled from the other side of the door.
What?
So someone came in. There's a conversation of some kind. You hear the door close. You can't tell whether the visitor left or is still present. And then you hear Lavinia coming back, so you move back to the chair you were in,
Mhm.
and nobody is the wiser that you were standing near the door. And she comes back in. Sorry about that. Uh, Something that Miss Delacourt was thinking might pay off at some point.
Hmm. Something to potentially discuss on Thursday then.
Perhaps, yes.
Very well.
Yeah. And you may probably stay a little longer. She'll, and offer you some cake and some tea. So you can be polite and hang around a bit. But primarily
Lovely.
mission accomplished. You will not actually see Helen, and Lavinia will make an excuse there, point out that she's busy, which means the visitor was something to do with something she's doing.
Mm.
What's you should make yourself a credit rating roll.
Mm. You mean Hannah?
Hannah, sorry, I said Helen, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrong H name. Without consulting the list, so many people.
Yeah.
Credit rating. Credit
Yeah.
rating.
So
My crit rating is just 50 at the moment.
That's not bad.
I'm going to use meets it beats it, right? Or is it below?
No, even is good. So if your score is 50, you need to throw 50.
I'm going to spend 6 points to succeed of luck.
Okay. Um, the
I
way
don't
that,
want to keep failing rolls tonight.
okay, the way that Lavinia talked to the man, and the gentleman from Mercy, one, they treated him as a tradesman. The gentleman from Mercy implies this is a tradesman, that is to say, a contractor, a service provider.
Mm.
Mercy, that'll you'll have to look up a little later. Mercy is probably a reference to the Mercy Academy, which is a school for art.
Mm.
So, on the one hand, a tradesman. On the other hand, he's perhaps an artist.
Commissioned
So,
something, or is trying to, or
yes,
is. Mm.
she's consulting a painter or an artist of some kind.
Perhaps
And
description.
hire and is yeah, and the way they were treating him, they're treating him as a worker. In other words, the gentleman
Mm.
from implies he's a skilled worker. So
Is it
someone they're hiring because he has a particular skill they want. In this case, art.
possible that she's hired him to make a rendition of the angel based on
Possibly.
her first-hand account? That would be
Maybe so.
useful.
Yeah. And if you want, you can actually drop by the Mayor's Academy and
Uh,
figure out
Say
who it
again?
was. You could visit the Mercy Academy yourself. And if you're smart about it, you might find out who the man was.
Here's the thing, if we're gonna be surprised. Hmm. See, my main concern is that I worry about alienating Hannah. I don't want to put a wedge between her and our little conspiracy before we can fully
No,
cement
that's fair.
our
Yeah, it's
alliance.
okay. That's perfectly fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we'll
that's you
send
for the
Baker.
afternoon then.
Yes.
Speaking of Mr. Baker, you had gone to find Mr. Gwyneth,
Mm-hmm.
and oh boy,
I
you
did.
know some places you walk into and you get hit by the crazy.
Yes.
Well, you will find Mr. Gwyneth in his apartment.
Just
It's easy to do because what you do basically is you go to the Angel Pub. The pub itself is crawling with people who probably don't have a job because it's mid afternoon on a Monday. So they're here drinking rather than doing anything, work related, which you'd think they'd be doing on a Monday afternoon. No, they're drinking. The bartender, who is a greasy fat fellow, whose arms are about as wide as your torso, and is missing two fingers on one hand, uh, is jovial, talkative, and more than happy to newcomers to point out a book that sits on one end of the bar, autographed by a number of famous criminals who stopped here on their way to the gallows. Apparently, the Angel gets its name from it being the stop between Newgate Prison and Tyburn, where those on their way to execution stop to have a drink.
I remember this.
Yeah, this place. As for Mr. Gwyneth, the bartender will happily point to his apartment upstairs, and he opens the door to your knock, and that's when the crazy hits. Because there isn't a single inch of his walls that is not covered with illustrations, drawings, notes, strings of yarn connecting things to things to things. His entire apartment is one giant conspiracy board.
That's the word I was looking for.
Okay, we are not inviting this guy to the party on Thursday. Just making sure, right?
If you planned on it, I think that your plans would probably be changing at this point.
No, you're just trying to get information from this guy.
The man himself, middle aged, uh, he clearly needs a shave because we're going to call that a beard. Although, really, I think it's less of a beard and more a lack of hygiene. As in, it's not really so much a deliberate beard as an unwillingness to shave. Likewise, he needs a haircut.
With a sense of smell?
Little of that, too. His hygiene is clearly not the best. Although, in all fairness, the smell of stale whiskey overpowers everything else. Plus, not sure, snuff or tobacco, hard to be certain. You'll also notice at various points at least 3 pistols that are just sitting on tabletops. As in, he is never more than 5 or 6 feet from a gun. So apparently, if anyone is coming after him, he's ready. Yeah, that. How do you want to play this one? Because he welcomes you into the apartment, eyes you up and down, measures the distance between yourself and the gun, or one of them, and then asks if you'd like some tea.
I would love some tea.
So he will get the kettle, which he'll have to admit at this point has probably gone cold. Scrounge for cups to pour you some, apologize for a lack of sugar, reminding you that it's been years since he can afford sugar. But he has more important things to spend his money on. Not this place, mind you. This is simply temporary.
I try to
And
go
once he's
with.
poured the tea,
I understand when research overcomes you.
and it does, and it has, sir. But no one would understand. Is the problem?
I think there are more people who would understand more than you think. I come here looking for such research. It's an item you might have acquired recently.
I've acquired nothing in recent years except greater knowledge and the more burden that carries. I, for instance, live in dread of the day that His Majesty dies.
Long live the king.
That forever, sir, forever. Because I know it blasphemy to say it, but I don't think both of the princes are still men.
What did he say? He doesn't think the 2 princes
Both
are
of the
men?
princes are still men. Well, it's all perfectly clear. You know His Majesty Prince William served in the American War, and you know he disappeared for a time while in New York. He did not come back, sir.
He didn't return.
That thing that walks around in his shape is no man.
And
he is next after his brother, isn't he?
Yes. What makes you think that is a changeling among us?
Well, allow me to explain. And at this point, I'm afraid you are in for an hour-long rant.
2 hours later.
Yeah, which starts with an American plot to kidnap Prince William. By the way, fun fact, that part is actually true. There was some people actually did approach George Washington with a plan to kidnap Prince William, who was serving as an officer in the British Navy. Washington told them no, and that was the end of it. But that part really happened. No. Someone actually did suggest doing that. That is where reality ends in this matter. Because what follows is an hour-long rant about how he was in fact kidnapped and replaced by a shape-shifting thing that's setting the stage for a takeover by lizard people who live below the ground. He's heard of them, he's spoken to them, and he knows where to find them.
And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm just here to get some prints.
Yeah. And finally, the nice thing is he finally gets around to Maiden Castle, because of course everything in his world connects. Thus all of the yarn trails, claiming that the causewayed enclosure that fronts Maiden Castle is not Neolithic, but older. That it goes back beyond anything people thought, and he's actually arguing it is pre-human entirely, which, incidentally, modern archaeology thinks is complete nonsense. As for the plates, he does have them. The illustrations he prepared for the third volume of the Vestutia Monumenta, and he is convinced that the plates, that it was not a printer's error, but the plates were deliberately suppressed. And of course, he will be happy to show them to you.
Sanity check.
Yeah, please. Oh, hell, half the things in this guy's apartment are worth a sanity check. And in his case, he's already sanity checked out, as you may have noticed. This is what version of your sanity is it dramatic crazy?
Because I start to believe him?
What's that?
Are you saying I should make a sanity check because I start to believe him, or?
No, I'm saying you should make a sanity check for what's in the plates.
I thought they were blank, or is it just text that's like crazy?
No. These are what he did was he made illustrations, copies of the artwork found in the causeway enclosure at Maiden Castle.
So I'm guessing it's worse than the art at St. Anne's by quite a
it's
measure.
primitive art. It's Neolithic art.
Okay.
How'd you do on that?
I do survive.
Okay, so you won't lose anything. Because the thing is, several of the illustrations are what you would expect. They're depictions of human figures holding what might be spears or clubs. But two of them catch your eye. He'll admit that these are small illustrations. The first one, for instance, is only 8 inches high in the causeway. But it shows a thing depicted above a group of men that, allowing for the primitive Neolithic style of art, could very well be the thing you saw in the air over Lord Vauxhall's estate.
I
mean, you have to use a lot of artistic license to make it that.
I think Thomas Baker in this moment like pauses, like his face shifts from polite society, like bemusing him, you're like, oh yes, nodding, smile and nod, to like focused concern on this one picture. And I think if our praised friend here takes notice, you'll see that.
Oh, and he does, and he will, and which will launch him into an explanation. What he's arguing here is that this thing is considerably older. That may or may not be true, but he adds that the so-called Zothaqua cult, he believes the Zothaqua cult is not a mask for the cult of Thoth, that it is a different thing, or that the Egyptians modeled Thoth on Zothaqua. In other words, that the Zothaqua cult is far older, possibly older than Egypt.
That is quite something.
And that he believes that the illustration you're looking at here dates to approximately 3,500 to 4,000 BC and depicts a creature that he thinks is intended to be a depiction of Zothaqua. That the Maiden Castle, the causewayed enclosure at Maiden Castle, was a worship site of Zothaqua. That's what he thinks. The second plate that catches your attention is a similar illustration, except this one doesn't show men. This one shows what appears to be a 5-limbed thing. But if you look closely, and again, you have to squint because of the quality of the art, remember there were 3 indentations on the balloon.
Yes.
So does this illustration depict 2 wings and 3 legs? That would jibe with the number of visible limbs the thing had.
This matches what I saw in the sky somewhat.
Allowing for the primitiveness of the art. Because this is essentially rock art. So it's not, the detail is nowhere up to like the Alamira caves or something like that. This is primitive art. But it certainly could. And if you know what you're looking at, in other words, having seen the thing in the air, one could certainly assume that this is an illustration of it. Maybe as it appeared to someone on the ground who saw it and drew a picture of it. And of course, combined with the other illustration, which shows it above the men, the two together also imply that it's flying. The second one has no context. There's no surface, no ground, nothing to indicate its location. But the first one depicts it clearly above a group of men.
I'd like to take out some paper and possibly borrow a pen.
Oh, he's happy to.
And
you're taking him seriously. He's happy to help you in any way he can.
Make some reproductions as best I can of the images, so I can show
honestly
them
easy to do. It's not highly detailed art.
Yeah.
But that's what he found at Maiden Castle, and he is convinced that the publishers suppress this. They don't want people to know about Zothaqua.
I had my own suspicions, but this proves there.
Now let me show you something else, he says. He goes through piles and piles of papers. If he has a filing system, it's not making any sense to you. But the way he's working, it's clear he knows what he's doing. Like there's organization here that's not obvious to anyone who isn't him. And what he pulls out is a set of handwritten notes. This, he says, is translated from the Pseudo-Agrippina. No, wait, that's not right. Hold on. He goes and checks another list. Cassiodorus? No. Hillel? No. He's going through lists trying to figure out which. Oh, wait, there's actually a numbering system. Many of these documents are numbered. He's got a shorthand filing system. And the numbers mean something to him, if nothing else.
I'm just kind of got a concern. You say he's got stacks of books and papers.
Oh yeah,
all over his place,
Yep.
And this is still a time where we use candlelight.
Oh yeah.
So he is in a fire waiting to happen.
Oh yeah. That's a polite way to put it. Yeah, one good spark, and this place would explode.
Yeah.
Here we are, he says. Here we are. This is from the Lindisfarne Chronicle. And he hands you a translation of notes. Notes of a translation. Some of the Latin is preserved. Basically, what you're looking at here is a text from Lindisfarne. It's a chronicle, that is to say, it's a collection of yearly events. And the part that he's underlined is in the year 672, a visitor appeared in Dorset, coming from the sky. Men said it was Nephilim, and the word is rendered in Latin and misspelled. We have our doubts. Abbot Coleman dispatched 2 men. They returned not having seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, according to this chronicle, in the year 672, something came down from the sky in Dorset. The
Do you
monks
believe
at
it?
Lindisfarne,
Do you believe
who
it to
gathered
be
that yearly text, heard about it, but by the time the news reached Lindisfarne and the monks returned to Dorset, the thing was long gone. It probably took weeks for that to happen.
Do you believe it to be an angel from heaven?
I don't believe in heaven. He says that matter of factly and waits for your shocked response. He's not getting one.
I'm not.
Shocked,
I'm not getting one because I'm like Lucifer also fell.
Don't believe in that either. Are you familiar with Baron Tolbach? I strongly recommend his System of Nature.
System of Nature.
It is most excellent proof there is no such thing as God.
Don't let others hear you say that.
Oh, I care not a whit. They think I'm mad anyways. In all fairness, he is mad. How could one believe in a divine being in a world such as this? Things do come from the sky, but they are no gods. Men worship them as gods.
Everyone comes to faith with different reasons. Some for power and some for hope.
Yeah, I suppose that is the case. One might say such a thing anyway. To be honest, it matters not to me.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your time and in illuminating theories.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. It's good to meet someone who understands some of these things. And I'm sorry if my talk of atheism put you off.
It's not the case at all. My faith has been shaken. I'm not much of a churchgoer now.
Let me explain it to you another way, if I may.
Of course.
So Dionysus, king of Syracuse, he demanded that men worship him as if he were a god. Now, being a mad tyrant and capable of slaying any who had disagreed with him, the men of Syracuse did exactly that. Now, there was a Greek thinker, Antigonus, perhaps? Hipparchus Atheosus? I don't remember, it doesn't matter. Who said, men today worship Zeus, when it seems to me that 1,000 years ago was a king who was called Zeus, who forced men to worship him. And 1,000 years later, we imagine that Zeus was a god, not a man. In 1,000 years, they'll worship Dionysus as if he were a god.
It's all parables.
My point. And such creatures come down from the sky, a thing that flies no greater or less than a bird, perhaps, and men take it upon themselves to worship it, and it becomes a god. This Sothakwa is a creature for certain. This visitor, where it comes from, I've no idea. but it is not a god. It is a creature.
One can
But
always say what is magic but science undiscovered.
That, exactly that.
You got a new best friend.
I before I go, I must say I'd like us to continue correspondence and hopefully uh, I would say collect your works in a more uh, uh, safe environment. I gesture to your candlelight.
Invite
You
him to the
worry.
party.
We'll discuss the matter further at some other point. I will not trust editing this to anyone I cannot trust fully. I'm sure you understand.
I'm not saying to edit it. I am simply try to bind it to better preserve it.
Perhaps we'll talk again, no doubt.
Okay.
So that's your afternoon.
Yes.
Woo! Crazy.
You didn't invite him to the party.
Yeah.
I'm not inviting the crazy guy.
Yeah.
He's
Listen,
only a little crazy.
in all fairness, the guy who thinks Prince William has been replaced by a lizard man.
Yeah. He's fine.
Maybe we shouldn't. I'm not sure how seriously we should take it.
We wouldn't take it seriously if we hadn't seen the monster ourselves.
Yeah, well.
So where can I stop and buy a gun for Illingsworth on the way to line
if
house?
he's going to try to stop to buy him a gun, like, he'll stop him and say, I'm perfectly capable of buying my own.
No, I'm not buying it for you. I'm looking for a place.
Oh.
Is there a place in London you can buy a pistol?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're buying him a pistol.
Any good gunsmith. Your favorite in your neighborhood is probably Lochner and Sons.
Awesome. We want a nice pistol for the gentleman to defend himself in case of some kind of
Yeah,
emergency. Some extra powder.
They make custom-made ones, but they do generally have a few ready-made in stock.
Perfect. And some extra powder and a few bullets. And do they use cloth in the guns at this point?
Yeah, you
everything
basically you wrap them the bullet in
Okay.
It's essentially powder. Primary powder goes in the barrel. Bullet on top of that. Wad to keep the bullet from rolling out. Secondary powder goes in the pan.
Right.
And then the lock ignites the secondary, which ignites the primary.
Okay. Yes.
If it works right.
So Illingsworth, just FYI, a flintlock pistol does a D6 plus 1 damage. And that's a range.
Also, fun fact, and one of the things that a flintlock can misfire is the primary fails to ignite the secondary powder.
Yeah.
Which is where the phrase "flash in the pan" comes from.
Yeah, so you get the burst of smoke from the pan and a spark, and nothing happens. Yeah, so there's one of the potential malfunctions. It's got a range.
That's where that expression comes from in English.
It's got a range of 10 yards. The ammo is 1/4. So you can fire it once every 4 rounds because the malfunction is a 95.
Yep. Now, realistically, range is actually 50 to 60 yards.
But 10 yards is the 10, ultimate range, like the perfect range for just. Well, I think
to hit something.
At 20 yards, it's a hard success you need, I think, right? I can't remember. Yeah. And then up to 40 yards is an extreme success. And then up to 80 yards requires a critical hit. Basically an 0-1 to actually hit a target that far.
The missile will keep going, but you don't get much in the way of accuracy beyond 10 to 20 yards.
Right. And also, at a certain point, the speed has slowed, so it's not going to hurt anybody anyway. So, I will pick up. Actually, seeing him with like a dozen bullets or however many we purchase, I will purchase a little more powder and shot. Because I usually don't carry extra ammo for this gun. It's all back home. But I'll get some for my pocket for now. And I will thank you.
I would also like to get a truncheon as well.
They probably don't sell those here.
Yeah, you don't get those here, but you can find one on your way there.
I know a place, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we'll stop by there and you can get a truncheon. I have no idea how much damage that does. If it's a D4 or D6.
It'll be a D6.
Okay. Plus your damage bonus.
Yes. My guy's pretty built.
Holy crap! I have a damage bonus. My build is 1. What the
Damn.
fuck? Oh, I'm pretty strong. I forgot about that. Okay. Too
All
bad I
right,
didn't
we have
put any
we have the
points in.
same we have the same build then.
Are you gonna give me? You gonna buy a trudgeon and say, "Hey, put this in your pocket"?
Well, I'm still getting a trudgeon for myself at least.
Good.
I can't hit
Yeah,
with
no,
shit. My brawl is
no reason not to.
terrible.
Your brawl can't be any worse than mine.
That is bad. If
Oh,
you buy a trudgeon for
uh,
me and say, "Here, put this in your pocket," I will take it. Otherwise, I'm not gonna bother. Doctor Payne is not much of a brawler. He doesn't think.
Yeah.
Then we can
Deep
bench
irony.
press a horse.
So, feeling
I was
better
wondering if I
protected
could
then?
also make my way over to Dr. Blythe's residence to invite him to the dinner party.
That's a good idea.
Yes, we'll get back to that. Yes. So, as the two of you, feeling now, I guess, a bit safer, you make your way down to what was St. Anne's Church. You've been to this neighborhood before, and since you've been visiting it and providing medical services, you will start to see people getting friendlier.
Not specifically this part of the neighborhood. Remember, people
Well,
were
you've been,
kind of like getting all like, "Whoa, you don't want to go over there," or
yeah.
acting
Well,
kind of weird.
you've still been in this neighborhood,
Okay, okay, cool. I wave to
so
people that I
people,
know, or greet
yeah.
them if they greet me on the street.
You don't see anyone you know, but you
Okay,
definitely hear someone saying, "That's the doctor who comes around." Like, because there's clearly people watching, hanging out in the street with nothing to do, and you can clearly hear someone like, "Who's that?" It's like, "Oh, that's the doctor that comes around. He's okay."
okay. And is that at what's the name of this? Old Friars Way,
Little Vickers Lane.
Little Vickers Lane. Is that on Little Vickers Lane or approaching it?
It's as you turn onto Little Vickers Lane
Okay. I
from
also
George Street.
brought plenty of pence
Yep.
for the beggars here again.
And distributing a little money will make you
Definitely.
even more
Yeah,
popular.
I want to distribute money to some of the people and who are begging,
I'm
or anybody else
I'll,
who wants it.
I'll try to follow suit a little bit in that aspect then as well.
Pulls out a
Yeah,
10-pound note.
distributing a little money will earn you at least some respect here, or at very
Yeah,
least, people will leave you alone.
yeah, that's all I'm looking for. Like
Yeah.
And
I
I
want
will make.
to.
Sorry, go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
No, yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to not seem like a threat. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
I will also make some small talk with the beggars, just asking if there's anyone in need of medical attention in the area that they
There's
know of. Do you
always
need some? You know, that kind of
there's
thing.
always people in need.
Okay.
Disease runs rampant through this place. Injuries of all
hmm
sorts.
So they're telling me this.
Yeah.
So
So
they're
if
telling.
you ask, you will get a list a mile long.
I pat one of them on the shoulder and say, "I'll be back on Wednesday to see what I can
So
do. If I can help, I would like to help. Very
they
sincerely."
will basically make a note of that.
Okay, yeah. And I'm making sure everybody has at least a couple pennies.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. Now, when you get to the church itself, you'll
okay.
find on a Monday afternoon, there's a little activity here. Most of it involves maintenance and cleaning.
Okay.
There's a young woman sweeping the floor,
Oh, okay.
for instance. There's somebody, another young woman, who's polishing what little furniture there is using a dust rag.
Just the altar and like the
Yeah,
cabinets, right?
yeah, yeah. Like she's making sure they're not dusty. In other words, people doing. Well, you saw the place look clean before,
Mm-hmm.
so
These
now we sort of expected that people were cleaning it because it looked clean last you were here. So unlike most of this neighborhood, this place is actually clean.
these people look like locals, dressed in
Oh,
just poorly and
they're these are oh yeah,
okay.
these are our dirt poor people.
Mm-hmm. Pressing money onto people who aren't asking for it is insulting, right?
It's often.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna do that then.
Yeah. And one of the girls who's cleaning sees you, says, "Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Oh, good afternoon.
Begging your pardons. Are you looking for Reverend Brown?"
Yes. What's your name, girl?
"Liza.
Liza. Yes. Is he about?
He's in the office, I think. I'll
Ah.
check.
Oh.
Hold a
Very well.
moment, please, would you, sir?" And she,
It's Doctor Payne.
"Dr. Payne, right? Will do." And she will run off, and a couple of moments later, return with, in fact, Caleb Brown, who is
all kinds of crazy.
Looking well, he's got that 1,000-yard stare still.
Hmm.
Uh, he smiles to Liza, who goes back to what she was doing. Goes and collects her broom again and gets back to work. It's a big floor, and she's not big. She's sweeping the whole thing with a small broom, so that's going to take some time.
Aw, I should buy Liza
Oh,
a broom.
Doctor, says Reverend Brown, I had not expected to see you again so soon. It's
Oh,
quite the pleasure.
yes, Reverend. I was wondering, and I want
And
to glance towards the
who's
cleaning
who's
crew.
this gentleman?
I apologize. This is Mr. Illingsworth. Um,
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Good afternoon.
he.
He extends a hand. By the way, he's middle aged with that 1,000-yard stare, but
Okay.
his grip is firm.
Okay.
So I wouldn't call him, a strong man, but definitely
Right.
not a weak one.
Well, I'd say Illingsworth would also give a rather firm handshake as well.
What's your strength?
Oh,
65 is the number.
that's my.
Yeah. So he's not quite as strong as you probably, but
Well,
not by
yeah,
much.
I'm not trying to like strong arm him or anything. I'm just
Yeah.
give
No.
a firm handshake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The point is that his age looks older than it is because of that 1,000-yard stare, but
Okay.
his physical grip is firm. It's the firmer grip of a younger man,
Okay.
which creates a bit of discontinuity between his appearance and his physical action.
Okay.
Although it's probably that 1,000-yard stare that's doing it for you,
All
making him
right.
look, and the fact that he's lost much of his hair.
Okay.
Yeah, so he looks like he's in his 60s. He's probably 20 years younger than that.
Well, yeah. Say I'm probably just look like I'm about 10 years younger than him. So
So what
my
brings you around?
appearance is my appearance is not very high, and I am rather bald as well.
I
So
was.
You share that.
I was merely wondering. There's something I feel I need to talk to someone about. Uh, that I
But
don't
please,
believe I can talk to my own.
no,
To my.
please come in, come into the conservatory.
Yes, thank you. And I kind of gesture towards Illingsworth, and
yeah,
I go after
yeah, I'll follow.
Father,
So you,
Reverend Brown. Father Brown was a detective. Anyway,
so
sorry.
you will you'll exit the main church,
Hmm.
and you're now in that space again behind the church, where you've got his office.
His office.
There's a bunch of spaces here.
Damn.
It's not his office you're going to; it's the
Damn.
conservatory,
Okay.
which is set up clearly as a consulting space.
Okay.
In other words, there's half a dozen chairs.
Hmm. Oh, I should have come alone. Maybe he would have taken me into his office if I'd been alone. Okay. I said I
Maybe,
will.
maybe not.
Yeah, I know. I
There's
know. This is
the,
obviously
the
not the same office that we got the description of from
yeah,
Miss
no. This is
Delacourt.
a space to tell.
Okay.
When
Okay.
you have it's very clear. This is a space for a consultation. So someone comes to him and says, like, I want to talk about religion. I'm
Hmm.
having a crisis.
Hmm.
This is a comfy space.
Why didn't he take Delacourt here? I'll sit down. Um,
He did not. But then again, maybe he trusts her.
why?
Maybe
Why?
he knows. Maybe he doesn't know you.
He
There's
knows we're friends.
the one thing that stands out here is first off, there's a table contains a number of magazines.
Okay.
So there's clearly stuff to like in that sense. If you have to wait, there's some magazines to read,
Okay. Are these
and
like
probably
religious monographs, or are they more just
no,
general?
these are
Here's something to
popular
kill time with.
popular magazines
Okay. Okay.
like the Tatler,
Okay.
the Newgate Calendar.
I don't read any of
So these are
these. My wife
yeah no you
does.
yeah you mean
Probably.
these are yeah the Tatler is a mixture of fiction and articles on fashion and society. There's
Okay.
also a couple of newspapers.
No wonder
In
my
other words,
mannequin's so bad.
light reading material,
Okay.
clearly intended for people waiting.
I'm gonna.
The oddest thing here, though, is a samovar.
What's a samovar?
It's a Russian, essentially a Russian tea kettle.
Just in the
It's a
on the
device. It's a device for making hot drinks,
Where is it?
especially tea, and it's sitting on a table between two of the couches.
Not on a cat. Not on some. Okay.
No, it's unusual to find one in London. If you were
Okay.
in Russia, you'd find one of these on every street corner.
Right. Um.
It-
Okay.
Can I
You
can
don't
I
see them
do
very
an
often.
appraise? Can I do a
On a pra-
praise
yeah,
and
yeah.
praise check on the tea kettle?
Oh yeah.
I failed. All right.
Okay.
You can
Uh,
push it.
Nah, I was
Ah,
just.
yeah.
I don't know how
What?
I'd push it. I don't know how I'd push it.
okay.
Yeah. What stands out is the fact that this device is
Rush.
common in Russia, but not in England,
Okay, we're gonna leave that for the moment. Might come back to it.
and it's probably valuable, but it's clearly being used not for its value. It's being used to make tea.
Oh,
Then,
that's what I would
yeah,
use it
then my
for.
guy probably doesn't think it's very valuable. Like,
Yeah. And in fact,
make it as a
Reverend Brown will
praise
offer
check.
you some tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not tea
Which
time
comes out
though,
nice
is
and
it?
hot.
Is it?
What's that?
Wait, it comes out
But
nice
tea,
and hot from a teapot sitting on a table.
it's got a heater in it. That's the point of a samovar. It makes hot tea.
Does my character know this?
Yeah, that's what I say. It's a
Oh,
Russian thing.
okay, okay. It's common knowledge. Okay,
In England, you'd make tea by boiling water in a kettle.
right.
In Russia, they boil it in a samovar.
But it boils, but it stays hot in there somehow.
It's insulated to keep it hot.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
they,
pass on the tea myself, just because
yeah,
it's not tea time and the doctor's not. He's not a big tea drinker. Actually, never has been.
yeah.
Um.
A samovar is traditionally made of metal.
Oh, and kettles
This
are
one is too.
crockery.
It's
Okay.
traditionally heated with coal or kindling.
Okay.
And if you look up like a picture of them, you'll notice that it's one thing, so that the kindling or coal basically goes in the bottom of the urn,
Oh,
so you don't see the heat.
interesting.
But basically, you put the hot coals in the bottom,
It keeps it hot all
and
day
it
for
boils
as
the
long as
water,
you
and it
want.
keeps it hot for hours.
Okay. How clever. Those Russians.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was made for a culture where it's fucking cold a lot,
Yeah.
and it's
Oh,
nice to have a hot drink container that keeps hot drinks hot for hours.
oh.
This one is decorated,
Well,
so it's probably valuable.
mm,
And given the nature of Caleb Brown's followers, what wonder is exactly
probably
who he stole
stolen.
this from.
Yeah. Yay. Um.
But he didn't fence this; he's using it for its intended function.
Once we're all seated, I'll say, Reverend Brown. So I saw something the other night.
I'm listening.
As did I.
Oh,
Yes, that's why I brought Mr. Illingsworth. He saw it. He says he saw it too, and I'm still not certain of my eyes, but I think it was real. It was.
he
I'm
sits
gonna
at the T.
I'm gonna try to describe it as best I can. I only caught a really I only caught a glimpse. I didn't lose much sanity, so I probably did not get a
You
And
didn't get a
single.
good look.
I'll try to give it any details that I could
You got it.
add as
You
well.
lost more sanity. Got a better look at it.
Well, I only lost 1 point of
I
sanity,
only lost
Okay,
a point too. So, but it
so
was you
neither of you
said it
really
was
got a good
right
look at it.
above me, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
but it
Um,
also was dark.
I'm not giving details like where it happened or any of that stuff. I'm just telling him that I saw it and I'm trying to describe it and seeing where this goes from there.
He listens, and then he
And
says, "Where did you see it?"
well, we were attending. It was a ball at Lord Vauxhall's uh, estate, and the man fell off the tightrope. And so I ran to assist him and happened to look up because he mentioned. Well, no, this was actually I saw it before he started babbling on about a monster in the sky thing. So I looked. I just happened to look up, and it was there in the sky, and it. I'm sure my own priest at the Anglican Church would not understand. Um, but I remember talking to you before, and your invitation to your your service that you said was like the Shakers. It seemed, and
And
and it,
and
it, it
my invitation stands,
yes. I understand that. Well, I could.
and therein I think you will find the answer you are seeking.
So you, I'm sorry. What?
The thing you saw.
Yes.
I cannot well explain what such a thing is.
Oh, I
I can
understand.
show it to you. I can reveal it to you, that you may understand. I am not a prophet, I am a teacher. I lead to knowledge. I cannot give you knowledge, I can lead you to it. But you must do the understanding on your own.
I'm afraid that I don't even understand what you're saying exactly. I
And what I'm
apologize.
saying is, No, not at all. If you come to Friday's service, I will show you
Yes.
the thing you saw.
Would you have a picture of it or something in a book, perhaps? He laughs. He kind of giggles like
You
that.
go, perhaps.
I will show you the thing you saw.
How? If you don't mind me asking, I don't mean to be rude, of course. One bead of
Therein is,
sweat. No.
therein is one of the mysteries.
Oh, very well. Very well, Reverend.
But I cannot and I will not explain it. I will show it to you. And once you have seen, you will understand. And this invitation is open to you and Mr. Ellington and any
Illingsworth.
others. It's worth my
Sorry,
apologies.
I might have misspoken his name before.
Or perhaps I did.
I,
This
oh,
invitation is open to all and sundry.
oh. Well, so you show it. So it. I'm.
Doctor,
And
I cannot respond in words.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Come and see, I beg of you.
and when are these services?
Friday
Friday.
at sundown. After
Oh, okay, okay,
sundown,
okay.
and I look at Reverend Brown as in like right.
That's correct, yes.
Yes, I remembered.
After sun,
I
the
remembered. I
service begins
remembered.
after sundown,
Yes,
which means
I was otherwise engaged this
this year,
past
at
week.
this time of year, we shall begin about 8 in the evening.
I take out my pocket watch and look at it, just reflexively, and put it back in my waistcoat pocket.
I do hope you'll attend.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I wish you could explain this more. I'm very confused about all this. I'm
I
afraid.
understand. Most people are confused at first. Most people are too hidebound to understand the greater nature of things.
I see. I see.
They are wrapped up in this kingdom of the present, but ours is the kingdom of God,
So
and
that
ours the kingdom of gods and of princes, in which every man is a king. The
uh,
first shall be last, the last shall be first, and all shall be as one.
what's he quoting? Do I know?
Well,
Is
the
that
first part
from
he's
the?
quoting Jesus.
Okay.
The last
Okay.
part he seems to have added.
Is what? I'm sorry.
He added the last line,
Okay. Okay. Because I thought I
but he's quoting
recognized
the
the
words
first
of
line.
Jesus. The first two lines he's quoting Jesus.
Okay. I have a religion
The
of
first
ten
shall be last,
percent. I
and the
have a.
last shall be first.
Okay. Yeah, I knew I'd heard that before. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope that's not from Revelations. Very well. Very well. Thank you. Thank you for your time, Reverend.
Of course. I hope to
Um,
see you on Friday.
is there anything that I can do otherwise before the service to help out to help your
Maintain an
cause?
open mind is what you can do.
Oh, very well. Did you need any? I kind of reach into my pocket, and there's a jingle of coins. Do you need
You
any?
are welcome. You are welcome to leave an offering in the jar at the door,
The jar at
as
the
many
yeah.
do.
Oh, I see. I did say that. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Lingers. You didn't have any questions? Did you have any
Uh, no,
questions?
no.
Or oh,
Um,
very good. Thank you, Reverend.
By the way, does either of you want to attempt something like a psychology roll?
I was thinking about
Yes,
it.
sure.
I looked over my character sheet.
Yeah. I mean, you
I'm
both, if you have points, you're
studying.
welcome to have a go at it.
I'm studying this man. The
Oh, yeah.
problem is, I'm pretty certain he's telling
Yeah,
the truth. He's being very evasive, but he's.
yeah. My guy's not going to have a good.
Oh my God! Oh one crit success
Okay. And how'd you do?
Yes.
I'm guessing not
out
better
of
than that.
50. Was there a penalty
Yeah.
die? Was there a
No, no.
bonus die?
Okay, so let's be very
There's the
clear.
row.
He
There's the
said he
row.
was going to show you.
Yeah, I was real
Remember
nervous about that.
what Collins and company said, that they thought they could control it to an extent.
Yes, I remember that very distinctly. Baker told us.
When he said he's going to show you, he means he's going to call it.
That was
It will be
that's what
here
he
Friday.
believes. That's what I pick up that he believes. Correct?
No, this is a man.
Oh.
Look at the 1,000-yard stare.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the dedication of his followers.
Okay.
he's going to call the thing. It's going to be here Friday. When he said you will see, he's not speaking metaphorically.
I kind of thought that already. I was. Do I need to make any kind
Now,
of a skill roll for feigning
do either of you have?
ignorance? Because I was guessing
Do
at
either of
that.
you have? No, he does because
Okay.
he doesn't care. He will.
He
Do
doesn't
either of you
care.
have a
He's
cult?
fucking crazy. I don't think I do.
This guy's nuts.
No, no, I don't have a cult.
Yeah. No, I don't either.
Worth a thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
I
guys
thank
will
him,
get out of there.
and I will go. I'll leave a couple pennies in the jar. No, I'll leave a
I,
couple shilling. I don't want to offend this guy in any way. He scares the living crap out of my character.
Yeah, well, that's appropriate.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
and I
go
follow
ahead.
suit as well. Like I said, just to save
Yep.
face, so to
Yep.
speak.
I say goodbye to Liza too as we pass. I say goodbye, Liza.
Smile and nod.
I'll stop. I'll stop. I'll stop. Do you come to the services?
Of course,
Oh yes. Oh, very nice, very nice. And then I'm out of
the
here
finest
because
part of my week, to be honest.
is she crazy too? Can I make a psychology check on her?
Sure.
Does she seem off to me? Not going to get another 01, but I will get a 47 out of 50, which is a regular
Regular
success.
success.
Well, she is as far as you can tell from the limited interaction, she's
Right.
a dedicated believer.
Okay. She's a cultist.
Oh yeah,
All right. All right.
and
We're
and
out.
look at how poor she looks.
Mm-hmm.
So part of it is she's probably seen the creature and blown a whole lot of sanity, maybe all of it.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
On the other
Okay. This
hand,
is bad.
he's also promising social leveling to a girl who's wearing rags and sweeping a floor.
Hmm.
Okay.
In a
Again,
world
I'll.
where people feast, she lives in a world where she can't afford a pair of shoes.
Man. Okay. Uh,
So
I feel
the social
terribly
leveling part is
guilty.
also clearly appealing. So what Brown is bringing to the table is a mixture of mythos horror and social leveling. No
Okay.
wonder it's such a potent mix around here.
Mm-hmm. Again, as the beggars approach, on our way
Yep.
out, give them a little cash. Make small talk with them to be friendly. I'm not going to
Yep.
mention Friday night at all.
Good choice.
I'm kind of scared of saying anything about it.
Yeah.
I'll see
So
you
you can
Friday
decide
night.
on
I'll
Friday.
see you Friday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
I'm
Now
terrified
one
that
more.
they're all going to be like, yes, you
Now
will.
I think one more thing to be done then today, which
Oh
was
my
one of you
God.
wanted to. Oh, you were gonna. Mr. Edgeworth was gonna go find Dr. Blythe. For that, you will need a luck roll to
Oh.
locate him.
Well, I have substantially less luck than I used to.
Yep. Because he can be hard to find at points.
I say that, but my luck was just decreased to 24, and I rolled a 24.
There
Okay.
you go.
So you will actually find him not at his apartment, but at the Mercury reading room.
Mm.
One of those places. Basically, it's like, where could he be? Try his apartment. No. Try the Mercury. Aha! Bam! There he is. Where you will find him sitting at a table, quietly taking notes. Um,
I walk up to him, hat in hand. Dr. Blythe?
he looks up. That's correct. Mr. Edgeworth, right? You
Yes.
are in the
Good
Mountbatten
to see
Club.
you.
Right. What can I do for you? Like, he's clearly looking, frankly, a little miffed that you've interrupted his train of thought.
I terribly sorry to interrupt.
Well, done is done. May as well finish the task.
Uh, how do I put this? Um, some friends and I have been looking into the disappearance of the tablet, of your tablet,
Yes.
and we come upon a number of fascinating discoveries, both connected to its contents and disturbingly modern implications of it.
Well, yes,
and we
that's
were
no surprise at all.
hoping that you would be willing to attend a small dinner party this coming Thursday. I'll, of course, send the uh, information of where it would be to you if you agree to join us,
And
where
this
we
will
could.
involve the NCLU tablet.
This will involve. Uh, we believe that we might even have a lead on its current location.
Excellent. When and where?
I will give the information that Dr. Payne has given me for the.
I've got it then. You need not bother with the card. I will see you then.
It's Baker's house.
And now, if you'll excuse me. Incidentally, what he has in front of him is a book in Greek. And he's making notes in what appears to be Latin shorthand.
I read Latin. Could I steal a peek?
It's hard to read. You'll need to make a Latin roll because he's writing in shorthand. So he's using
I'm
some
happy to make it.
probably medieval abbreviations.
You know what? I got the luck roll. I'm feeling lucky. Let's do it.
Okay.
Didn't get it.
Aw.
Okay. Can't tell. What'd you roll?
68.
Okay. Can't make much sense of it, but you will, probably because you're attuned to it. And after all, the whole concept of visitor, you will note the one word, alien, alienos, foreigner, stranger, which could also be rendered as visitor, although no sense of context.
Right. Thank you for your time. I won't bother you any longer. And I make my way.
And you get a half look like, I won't bother you any longer consists of continuing to bother him. The time it took you to say that is continuing to bother him. He would have served better to just not say that, just walk away. Yeah,
I thought I was in good standing with Dr. Blythe.
Well, you are. This is him being social.
Yeah.
Oh, joy.
You interrupted him in the middle of something. Whatever he's working on, he clearly thinks it's important, and he does not like being interrupted. Now, unless anything is going to intervene, we'll probably jump ahead to Thursday.
Yeah, well, we'll meet at some point, either that evening or the next day, and
I assume
info dump.
the next couple of days that everything's gonna get shared. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna share everything.
All the info's got to be shared, and I am a baker's. Just looking over everything to make sure that his place is tip top. It's been a while since he's had guests.
Yep. Well, you also have a staff of servants who will take care of that for you.
Yeah.
So send somebody out to make sure that there's appropriate foods.
Baker is going to be anal about it.
Okay. So you're overseeing every detail yourself. Yeah. Okay. No reason. If you want to, you can. Oh. Spit my own tongue.
I do want to point out that Reverend Brown thinks he is going to summon the same thing into his church Friday night, from what we could gather from him. I'll make sure they know this.
Yes, I reiterate the fact. So.
Oh, and Wednesday. I go into the neighborhood with my medical bag. Wednesday afternoon. That's my scheduled time. I will go on to Old Friars Way or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Little Friars Way.
You'll get a number of people who
Vickers Lane.
Yeah, Little Vickers
You'll
Lane.
get a number of people who've apparently heard that you might attend the service Friday and are really hoping to see you there.
Oh, that's terrifying. But I'll be thank you. I'll just thank them very politely, and I will tend to people and try to see if I can't aid anybody that I can. Diseases, broken limbs. If somebody's got a maimed hand that needs to be removed, or whatever.
You're doing the best. You're doing the best you can, but you're basically fighting a tide.
Yeah. But I'm just going to help as many people as I can.
It's still worth doing.
You're
making a difference in some lives.
Yeah.
but it also can be grinding to see how much is to be done and how little one man can do. So
Yeah.
you're making the difference.
Do the one
But there's more to
question.
be done. There's more of a difference to be made that you
Oh,
alone
I know,
cannot make.
I know. But I will ask him if there are any local doctors in the neighborhood, or
Not
any
not
kind of
around.
physicians. Like
Not around here.
there's none around here.
Well,
There are no
around
like
here, you get sick, you get better
medicine
on your
men.
own, or you die.
Oh, ouch. Okay. Okay.
A lot
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
beggars you see are people who used to work and got maimed in
Yeah,
an accident, and now they begged because that's the social safety net.
yeah. That's I do that on Wednesday again. That's my afternoon thing for about 4 or 5 hours on Wednesday,
And of course, that's part of what Reverend Brown is selling.
and also giving out coins to people if they want or need them, shillings
Yep.
or mostly pennies and that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Well, also on Wednesday, incidentally, you'll get a response to that message we talked about.
Oh, like
Uh,
before or after I go into Limehouse? Early
you'll
in the
find it
day
when
or
you come
late?
home. You'll find it later in the day on Wednesday.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, I
setting
forgot
up a
about that.
setting up a meeting for Sunday.
I'm gonna send a message back, and it's just gonna say I'm just gonna note St. Anne's Church Friday after sundown, and I'm
So they
just
know
gonna
you're going
write
to be there.
something at the bottom. That's all I'm gonna say, and send it back wherever it's supposed to go to.
It came by a private courier.
Can will he? Can he? Does he wait or does
He
he
will,
just leave it? Yeah,
if you ask him to, he will
I
wait,
will. Once I read
and
it, and
because there a
they want
return message.
Sunday. Oh man!
Yep.
And they give me a location.
Yeah.
Then that's when I'm gonna write back. Church of Starry Wisdom. I'll add that. St. Anne's Church, Church of Starry Wisdom, Sunday, just after or dusk.
Friday.
Friday,
Friday.
Friday. Sorry, it's Friday, dusk after dusk. Something.
Okay.
Underline it. Fold that up and
Yeah.
hand it off to the messenger and send it away. That's pretty vague, but
It'll no. It's how you want to do it.
am I allowed to talk
Yeah.
to anybody about this, or is this something I shouldn't speak to anyone about? Is that what they've told me?
Only those you trust.
Damn it.
So you've brought these others in on a lot of this stuff. The question is, do you trust them enough? Because that is exactly how other people are recruited, is
Oh.
by encounters like this and trust.
Would it be kind to bring others into this thing that I
Because
know
they're
about?
already part of the way in.
Yeah.
So
All right
it
then.
might be worth bringing up on Thursday.
Yeah.
These
Yes.
people
Actually,
are all part
that's
way
a
in
perfect
already.
time. That's a perfect time to bring this up. So, Delacourt. I don't know if I can trust her. I think I can.
Yep.
Lavinia. Who else is supposed to be there? Blythe. I don't know
And
Blythe at
Dr.
all.
Blythe.
He gets distracted easily though, doesn't he? I bet he'll leave early, and then I can talk to whoever's left.
So Thursday dinner. You invited three other people plus the four of you. If Mr. Baker is being particularly anal about this, he'll take care of the arrangements himself. Also, do you want to do you want to send the other servants on holiday Thursday night? I mean, after all, if you want to be really discreet, maybe it's time to give the most or all of your servants the night off.
Or they serve dinner and then they have the rest of the night off.
Or that, and then the real conversation waits till after dinner.
I think that would make more sense.
Yeah. So basically, through the dinner itself, nothing of significance. In other
Right.
words, keep the dinner conversation light and wait until after dinner. Move to someplace like the study, close the door, give the
Drinks.
rest of the servants the night off, bring the coffee and whiskey in yourself, and now you have a private space to have an actual conversation.
Okay.
So that's when you'll want to bring out whatever you're going to bring out.
I'm looking to Edgeworth. He's the one who's got to be discreet about his girlfriend, so doesn't make her crazy.
Honesty is the best policy in this situation.
Actually, and of course, Dr. Blythe is not going to wait much longer. Like, so we were to discuss a thing, and we have
Oh
not.
yeah. See, I told you.
Was I deceived?
I'm looking at Edgeworth. He knows
No,
Blythe
no,
best.
Oh, sorry, my brain short-circuited. Graham's brain short-circuited.
You promised him you'd talk about the Enzilu tablet.
Yes.
And of course, none of that took place during
Dr.
dinner because
Payne.
the servants might have overheard.
No, it was small talk and
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Sorry, my brain. Dr. Payne, you've seen the tablet, yes?
no.
Was that was that
Miss
Delacour? Sorry,
Delacourt
I'm
was in
Well,
Reverend Brown's
I
office and
saw
saw
a clay
something.
tablet, she says. I've frankly no idea what it was.
Dr. Blythe, we think it might be the Anzaloo tablet.
So you
yeah.
believe then, says
Sorry.
Blythe, that
I
Brown
this
is
is
the one who
Graham
stole
speaking. I don't know what happened. My brain just utterly.
it. You're okay.
That's
Don't
okay.
worry
I
about
didn't
it.
hear anything you just said, Kevin.
So is Blythe's response then is, so you believe Reverend Brown has the tablet?
It seems likely. Um,
That's
all on the
troublesome.
table. Reverend Brown thinks he's going to summon something from the sky that probably looks like this. Blech! Here's my description of the monster. That seems to resemble certain things, possibly related to the Anzaloo tablet, and also related to certain other hidden things, including some things in Dorset and the like, connected to prehistoric. What's it called? Before the flood. What is
Oh,
that?
oh,
What's the word for that?
Antediluvian.
Yes,
Antediluvian.
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 That's the word I want. Antediluvian cultures potentially, and um, we and
So
Miss.
then we have. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
No, 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 please.
I was going to say then, says Blythe, we have of course cause for greater concern then.
I look at him to
I
continue.
I was not willing to say this, but I suppose it is best, as one says, to put the cards out. No, you get the idea. So I did not have the opportunity to finish translating the tablet, but my fear was that it contains an invocation to Enzilu,
You mentioned that to us, yes. A
calling on
summoning.
Enzilu to visit.
Mm.
If Reverend Brown understands how that works, and I suspect if he is going to call forth the Shantak, then
I'm
he
sorry.
does understand that. Oh, the creature you mentioned. The Babylonians refer to it as a Shantak.
Oh,
Takshal in Assyrian.
hmm,
Uh, Shantak, I think, would be the better English pronunciation.
very strange. Well, Miss Delacour.
And by the way, just notice the fact that he just that's Cthulhu mythos knowledge right there.
Well, I don't have any. I don't know, but he's just totally accepting
But
what
he's
we've
just,
just said without even
yeah,
blinking once.
and
So I'm
adding
like,
stuff to it.
okay.
And if that were true, he says,
Mm,
if Brown can, in fact, complete the translation of the Enzilu tablet, then he would find himself, I suspect, in possession of a very powerful spell.
from my understanding, he has done it before. It's what it seems like he may mention to us.
It's
I believe.
I'm gonna nod,
Well,
possible.
no, we
Ellingsworth.
don't. We don't
If that's the
believe.
case, he's already
Several
translated.
of our members have seen the creature above their own heads.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm looking at Miss Delacour.
It wasn't above my head. I was face to face with it. It's quite real,
I've
and I
seen it.
see everyone in the room understands that. I was, I don't know, perhaps 2,000 feet above the ground. My speed and position were hard to determine, whether Well, that's frequently the case, says Blythe. The Shantak are often associated with foul weather.
Oh.
Their very presence warps atmospheric systems.
Hmm. Are these Shantaks gods?
Well, that depends on who you ask, says Blythe.
Well, do you think it is Zathaqua? Is that the name?
Zathaqua. Uh, it's possible that the same entity, Zathaqua,
Hmm.
is the entity referred to by the term Anzilu.
But are the
Except I cannot,
Shantaks? Do you think the
if that,
Shantaks are a Shantak is Zathaqua, or are these two
I,
different things?
I think they're related, but I don't understand the relationship. The Kemper translation. Are you familiar with the Kemper tablet?
I'm not. I'm sorry.
The Kemper translation is the Kemper tablet is the only other tablet that contains the word Anzilu. It's found in the context of a prayer, and Kemper translated the word Anzilu as abomination.
But the other translation was visitor. You told us this.
I prefer visitor.
Yes.
That translation was it von Gritschke? Yes, it was von Gritschke's translation of the Kemper tablet. She suggested that the word should be rendered as visitor or outsider rather than abomination.
Do Shantaks have three legs? Do you know?
I think so, yes.
I'm looking at Miss Delacour. Can they be
They do.
killed?
And he's like, yes, yes, yep, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Can they be killed?
And Blythe sort of shrugs like,
Yeah. Okay.
hadn't
Okay.
given it much thought. I mean, as far as I know, he says it is a creature, so one assumes that it lives and it can die. Although I suspect on my own that killing it would be akin to attempting to kill something like an elephant. It can be done,
Hmm.
but most weapons that a man might wield will simply bounce off its hide.
Yeah. The biggest guns we're gonna have are rifles or fowling
So,
pieces.
I mean, a man can kill an elephant, but it's generally done with a great deal of foresight and indirect attacks.
Yeah. Do I know if Prescott maybe has a little cannon? He was in a
He does
war.
not. He didn't bring a cannon home from war.
You could have a little one, 2 or 3 feet
Yeah,
tall.
no.
Shoot a little tiny
Although
shell.
you do know some people who do.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. That
If
thought
you want
just
to bring
goes
that up at this
through
point
that.
as well,
I will bring up that point that perhaps a cannon, a small cannon.
because there may be a joke, but you do know some people who do own two 9-pound cannons.
Excellent. No,
Not
no,
that
I
they've
didn't
ever
make it
used
as a
them.
joke. I really am asking him. Maybe a cannon.
He has no idea.
Okay. A 9 pound cannon, or they fire 9 pound shells, right? Or 9 pound.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
significant.
cannons are rated by the weight of
Right.
the
That's
projectile.
not huge, but that would be better than a musket bullet.
Nine
Um,
9 pounds of steel projected at that rate
yeah, just roll it
is
into the church,
fucking
light it
dangerous.
off. Let's go.
Yeah,
We'll disguise it as a hay cart. Um,
been done.
has anyone met Mr. Cameron? Uh, right Honorable George Cameron here. Does anyone know him? I'm looking at Delacourt again.
I I don't, but I think that I saw him speaking once with Mr. Graves.
Oh, what about Mr. And I forget his first. Leslie Collins.
I don't know the man at all.
Where did you see him speaking with Mr. Graves? How
And
do
that's
you
where
know?
Lavinia will jump in. It was at Mr. Boxley's event
Oh my God!
last season.
Was I there?
Probably not.
Okay. Season. Mr. Graves. How did you know that was Mr. Graves, Miss Delacourt?
I didn't at the time,
Oh, I see.
but when I spoke with Reverend Brown, Mr. Graves was standing Well, as near as I am to you now.
I will explain to Dr. Blythe that Mr. Graves appears to be a criminal who enforces um, Reverend Brown's will. I'm going to explain
Living,
to him everything. I'm going to dump info on this guy about Brown was a
and,
criminal. We think Brown was a criminal who worked with. I'm not going to go into all the details of them accusing me because that's kind of irrelevant to the whole thing. I'm going to
and
try to keep
Lavinia,
it
by the way,
short.
is convinced that Graves is an absolute murderer.
Oh, she's met him.
On
She's seen him too.
well, she went with Ellen,
Oh, that's
or
right. Hannah.
I keep saying Helen,
Yeah,
Hannah.
that's okay.
She went with Hannah, and she has no evidence, but she got a vibe from Graves that he's a murderer,
Okay.
or at the very least, the kind of man willing and able to murder on a moment's notice.
hmm Um, that that the Bow Street Runners think that this is just a bunch of criminals disguised as a church. I'm going to give them
Yeah.
my impressions of the
Why
people
not
in the
both?
neighborhood and how they're probably all involved in the church.
Yeah. It is a criminal conspiracy. It is also a church. It is also a Cthulhu cult.
Yeah.
It is all of these things at once.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to make sure that everybody's
By
on the
the way, it's
same page.
also a social justice movement. It's all of these
Oh,
things at the
social
same time.
justice movement. I'm
Yeah, sort
trying
of.
to help. I'm trying
I
to
mean, it's a cult. It's a criminal conspiracy. It's a social justice
help.
movement. It's a church.
Social justice movement.
It's any one of these things, depending on which angle you look at it from.
Yep, and Mr. Edgeworth thought it wise to bring everyone together who has been involved in this very tightly. We thought we might be able to trust Mr. Cameron early on, right after what happened to you, Dr. Blythe. But obviously that is not the case because they were apparently conducting experiments and controlling this creature somehow. So
Well,
perhaps we should talk
are
to
you
Cameron.
are you going to attend their service tomorrow? Let's Blythe.
Yes.
That seems to me the key question.
Be the plan.
Because it seems to
We
me
need to at
that
least understand what we're going up against.
that is precisely what I was thinking.
I have had contact with an organization within the government last year that investigates these kind of things. They contacted me with some questions, and they said they would probably that they might contact me again. Do I know the name of the organization, even Kevin?
Yep.
This is quite secret. I would ask that none of you. Oh shit! I was gonna wait for. Oh fuck it! I've already started on. Um, Blythe seems really into the. He's not leaving. He's not going anywhere at this point. I don't think so.
No,
So I would ask that all of you keep it secret. It is called the Impossible Chamber, and they asked to speak to me about a professor that I had at university by the name of Dr. Cloyd Wibble.
Blythe, by the way, actually smiles for the first time.
Okay, I'm gonna look at him questioningly, like
Like he's heard of them too.
he's okay. Um,
I've done
my,
some consulting for them. Yes.
I believe I was considered a consultant as well. They were,
Yes, we are in the same place in that matter.
we were. I was asked about Miss Dr. Wibble. Um, the only thing I could relate was something that I saw during university that struck me very strangely when a corpse. We were. I apologize, Miss Delacourt, Miss Lavinia. We were working on a corpse, as you know, medical students must examine um, the interiors of
And
such.
best to smirk. Blythe naturally now smirks. Best not to ask where they come from. Yes.
I did not know at the time certain things that I know now. Uh, this gentleman was certainly dead. Um, there was certain things that had been removed from his body that would preclude life. I would rather not say more than that from the ladies. But I was quite surprised when he um, opened his eyes and started screaming in pain. Dr. Wibble took a small
Oh,
hammer and tapped him not gently on the head until he stopped, and then explained to me that it had been a reaction of the nerves of a dead man, which did not seem to me like anything I had ever heard before. the impossible chamber related to me that they were interested in Dr. Wibble, who I had not seen since university, as
Uh,
he had been. They thought he was doing experiments on the revitalization of the dead. Um,
you're not the only one, incidentally, adds Blythe, who hasn't seen him in some time.
oh, you knew Dr. Wibble?
I knew him by reputation.
Yes, I've.
And from what I understand, he resigned his position.
I did not know that. Did I know that, Kevin? Would I be keeping up
No,
with college? Okay, good.
not really.
So, no,
Yeah, no.
I did not know that. I'll tell him then.
And I don't know where he is at present. I'm not sure anyone else does either.
Perhaps that's for the best. Again, ladies, I
I'm inclined
apologize.
to agree. But the
I,
matter of tomorrow,
yes, the matter of tomorrow. I wish we'd have thought
if
more
you're
on this. Perhaps getting Cameron or Collins in an
if you're
indelible.
willing, I think one or more of us should go tomorrow.
Well, yes, I'm willing, if need be. Yes. You.
I'm willing.
Sorry.
As am I.
Did somebody say I missed some of that conversation there?
Yeah. Somebody said something. I missed it too.
Somebody said something right before Aaron did. What were you answering to, Aaron?
Oh, I said I'm willing.
Okay.
And I'm willing to
Okay.
go.
I think we're all willing, right?
Mm.
Well, it would. It. Mm. I feel it unkind to ask anyone else to go besides me.
Well,
However, Dr. Blythe, if does he need the Anzalu tablet to do this? Do you think, or is this something you can learn from the tablet and then you know it? I know nothing
uh,
of summoning.
I from what you describe, he's planning to conjure forth a Shantak, which needs has nothing to do with the ends of the tablet.
Oh, I thought the Anzalu tablet you said had some kind of summoning prayer upon it,
It does
but not.
an invocation of Anzilu. I don't know what the relationship between the Shantak and Anzilu is.
An Anzilo could be this Zethakwa god thing.
Thing, yes,
Yes.
and perhaps if the Shantaks have a god of their own.
Might I
So
suggest?
he's not trying to summon beast itself, he's trying to summon the beast's god?
No, not tomorrow night. I don't believe. He made
Tomorrow.
it very clear that he was going to show us exactly what we described to him that was Overlord Voxel's party.
Well, that's what he believed, but if he's working on incorrect information, he might be about to open the gateway to something much more terrifying.
Yes.
Can't rule out that possibility.
But if he does not know how to do it yet, if we remove the Anzilu tablet from him, it would be harder for him to do, wouldn't it? Or to learn to do, perhaps?
Well, the invocation is what the tablet's text contains. Recover that, and hopefully, before he's deciphered it. I don't know how the man is translating it at all. As far as I was aware, the sum total of people in the entirety of the Kingdom of England who can read that particular dialect is in this room.
I'm looking back and forth from Edgeworth to Shader. I'm assuming. I know Edgeworth worked with him. I mean, not Shader. To from Edgeworth and Blythe.
I
Hmm.
think he's referring just to himself.
Oh, I still look back and forth because I know that
Yeah,
Edgeworth worked for him for a while.
but Edgeworth, you did.
And I know, and I gestured to Dr. Blythe. He's really quite
Yeah.
exceptional. I've learned quite a bit.
Well, thank you. Point is that if he has the tablet in his possession over time, if he can, he will figure it out and translate it.
Then it's vital that we get it back from him. I received a letter today from the oh, I'm blanking out on their name now. The Impossible Chamber, um, with noting a meeting place for me on Sunday, and sent a message back noting merely St. Anne's Church, the Church of Starry Wisdom, and
So
Friday
they're
night
aware
at
of
dusk.
this.
I hope so.
Well,
But I would think even if some of us attend, others should. And my eyes skip over to Ellingsworth and Baker because my character has just convinced himself that these two are like they can do sneaky stuff. Even though Baker's got this beautiful fucking townhouse here that I didn't expect. I thought he lived in a hotel or something. Um,
No, I have money.
I didn't
I'm,
know that your character. You've never described your character as like really flashy or
I,
anything. He always seemed really
I'm not.
subtle.
I'm the. I have the Mark Zuckerberg look.
Yes, exactly. And so my character assumed like, oh, he's on the low end of the whole respectability spectrum, and that's
I'm
just
not
an assumption I
flashy.
made. And I'm looking at this beautiful artwork in your house and shit, and I'm like,
yeah, no, he comes from the kind of money where he
Baker,
doesn't feel the need to impress
Yeah.
anybody.
Baker
Or
lives here.
Yeah,
Anyway, but that's all just like all up in the head. If certain of us could try to get the tablet during, would you think during the ceremony when everyone is busy would be a
if it
good
were me,
time?
says Lavinia, that is exactly when I would do it.
Oh, my character trusts Lavinia. He likes Lavinia. She's
It
just
is
on
the
board with all the
it seems
craziness out of
it seems to
nowhere.
be the one time you can be certain where Reverend Brown will be,
Yes.
and you may maintain him inside of your field of vision.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
So that seems to me the perfect time to do such a thing.
Um, I want to turn to Miss Delacour again. I want to see
It
if she can give
surprises me the
us.
Bow Street Runners haven't thought of that, but then again, they're not very bright.
Um, can Miss Delacour give us any other details, like of the office, like other doors that let out, which direction maybe they let out?
He can tell you which door is the office.
Right. Were there any other doors in the office though?
No,
So it's just a. Hold on. When we went in, we saw a corridor and then other rooms, and one of
yeah,
the rooms was the one we were at.
yeah.
So from my description of that to her, is one of the other rooms on that hallway probably the office?
She can tell you exactly which door it is.
So it doesn't just open off of the main church room.
No, you
Awesome.
go.
Okay, that's very
Yeah,
helpful. Did
yeah.
we
No,
notice any other? We didn't notice any doors that looked like potentially exterior doors when we came down that hallway, did we?
not back there, but she is convinced that the church does have a back door,
Oh yeah, I
which
was
is
gonna walk
accessible
around
from
this
that area.
afternoon, or the other afternoon we were
Yeah,
there, but I forgot.
yeah. No, she's convinced it's there, and of course she knows which door it is. So there's that. She
Right,
can tell you
that's
which door you'll
huge.
need.
But there were
So
no
you
other
won't have to.
doors to the office. It was just one door in, and then
There's
was there a
one
window
door,
or anything?
yeah. There's a window.
Okay, that's helpful.
It might be possible for a potential thief to escape out the window.
Yeah. So Dr. Payne is suggesting that some of us, or even just one of us, attend this ceremony to put on, keep an eye on Brown and maybe Graves. He's blonde, he's huge, he's the size of a building. And either one or more of the other of us try to get into the office and get the Anzilu tablet. And hope that the Impossible Chamber contacts me tomorrow early on enough that perhaps they can lend us a little aid. That's Payne stops. He shuts up. He's just rambling now.
Mm,
He's obviously a little nervous about the whole situation.
yeah.
Gentlemen, you've been very quiet. What do you think? I'm sorry, I've been dominating the conversation.
Oh, no, no,
Uh,
no. But
out- outside of
I,
game, who has the best sleight of hand? Hmm.
mm,
Um,
Sleight of hand is not your issue.
no, it'd be a
Does
You
sneak.
need to get through. You're going to need to either get
Stealth.
through a locked back door and then probably locked office door, or you're going to
would
need to
that
sneak out
be
of the church
locked
service and
with
get through a locked
anything?
office door. One assumes he's going to lock his office. He'd be silly not to.
He definitely is going to lock the back door.
And the back door, there's no reason for the back door to be unlocked unless people are using it. In which case, then your problem is getting past a person.
Do any of us know any people of ill repute? And I look at
Not
Delacour.
no.
nobody you would trust.
Yeah, no one I would let in on our secrets.
Exactly.
You don't. We
Nobody
don't
who's
have to let
trustworthy.
them in on our secrets. If they can pick a
They,
lock
they're,
and are willing to
they're,
take money to keep their mouth shut, all they need to know is we need some doors.
Well,
well,
I'm not
they can
looking.
also use what we're asking for as
Oh
blackmail.
yes, that's true. That
this
is
is
true.
true.
That would be so
Now you do have
unconvincing.
one. There is one between the lot of you. There is one point worth making. Church
Please.
services are generally not quiet, especially if they're shaker like. There's going to be
Yeah.
dancing and music, which means it might be possible to simply take a crowbar to the lock.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, he did taste
There's
shake. He did
also
say shaker. There's a lot of music and dancing. How
Yeah, because
weird.
remember he described the service as
Mm-hmm.
being having music and dancing, which
Well, and
means you
even
can probably just take a crowbar and just force the door with a crowbar. It's noisy, but it probably won't be overheard
unless
in the
there's
church
guards or something. So yeah,
unless there's a
yeah,
guard or someone else. In
yeah,
which case, you have to deal with the guard anyway. If there's someone on
yes.
guard, you're going to have to deal with them no matter what. So lockpicking is probably not necessary unless you're really certain. I was going to say unless you're certain you don't want anyone to know you were there. But if you're stealing a thing, not like, oh no, the door is still locked. I wonder how they stole the thing. Who cares? The point is stealing the thing.
I'm also going to ask Miss Dr. Blythe and Miss Delacourt and Miss Lavinia Delacourt um, if they. I understand he's a scholar. I understand they're women. If they wish to be any part of this raid that we're considering right now, and this criminal, these these criminalities that we're thinking of doing.
Well, Hannah at first looking like she might want to,
Who?
and then she's not.
Hannah?
Yeah, Miss Delacourt. Then realizing she's in Lavinia actually will pull her aside for a moment. It's very clear. Lavinia is making a point of you're getting over this, you're getting better.
Oh yeah,
Don't set
that's
yourself
true.
back. Finally get into a better place. This will set you back.
We can overhear this conversation.
It's not so much you can overhear it, you can get a good sense of it.
Okay, okay. Dr. Blythe, I understand this might be well out of your purview, and that's
It
fine.
is.
Yes, that is more than
And
acceptable.
what he's willing to do, of course, is one is see if he can also send a message to the Impossible Chamber
Okay,
people and see what they've got.
that
And
sounds
two,
great.
make sure you have the right tablet.
Well, yes, but we won't need you to do that until after it's all done.
Well, what he's going to do is he actually will grab, if you're willing, a piece of paper,
Yeah,
and he'll
it's Baker's
reconstruct
house.
at least the first line or two from memory.
Okay, so we've got kind of a
In other words, he's writing in Sanskrit.
all right.
So the
Ooh.
first, like, here are the first six characters. If you hold the tablet this way, here are the first six characters in the top left.
Edgeworth, I think you're our expert, as close to an expert as we have outside of Dr. Blythe.
So,
I'll
in other
take
words, if he has
the
more than one tablet, this is how you'll know which is the right one.
Should he have any tablets,
mm,
Dr. Blythe?
Probably not.
Grab the right
Just
one
on
first, and if there's any others, and you can carry them.
take that too.
Yes, take
Yeah.
everything that looks
The
like
tablet
it's a
itself
stolen piece
is
of property.
small. It's only about 6 inches by about
Oh,
3 inches.
you can fit that in your freaking pocket. Okay.
Exactly.
Or in your waistcoat.
Yeah. Oh, it's not. It's not very large. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick, and of course, it's made of clay.
Honestly, gentlemen, my suggestion is that the three of you break in, and I will
Hmm.
attend. Or either that or Mr. Illingsworth and I attend the service. Reverend Brown knows us and has invited us both personally, and the other two of you break in through a back door. Or if you can find the window, which will probably be quite difficult. Can we have any idea of where the window might be with Miss Delacourt's description?
Uh, yeah, you can get a sense of which window it likely is.
Okay.
And again, I mean, you could theoretically just smash the window
Yes.
and go through that way.
Through a window
mm.
or the back door. Try
Now,
to
the
grab
problem with
whatever you
smashing the
can.
window is if there's a guard inside, he won't know it until he hears the breaking glass and enters.
Or just force the window.
Well, that would involve lockpicking if the window is locked,
Well,
secured by a
not
lock.
if there's a crowbar involved.
Yeah,
We don't have to smash the window, just like
you force it out like that.
force it
Yeah.
out. It's still going to make some
Although,
noise, but it might be a little quieter
yeah.
than
In other words,
smashing the
there are
glass.
ways to do this.
Yes. That's just my suggestion. Um, I will be armed
And of course, at some point, tomorrow go buy a crowbar.
by a crowbar, by some more guns, um, or a knife. I don't know anything about you gentlemen, really. Edgeworth, do you have any skill with a knife or a pistol or a
Actually, no. My skill in combat is mostly limited to riflemanship.
Is there any way to disguise a rifle if we like wrapped it up or something? Like after we're
Yeah.
going there around dark, around time
Oh
it's
yeah.
dark,
At
that he
night,
could like
easy enough
chuck
to do.
down onto the ground in case he needs it later. Like, this is the window.
Yeah.
Put my rifle down. We're gonna do the deal. There's a
Oh yeah.
rifle there if we
Wrap
need
it.
it.
Put it in a long case,
Yeah,
like the kind used by painters, certain crafters.
there you go. I mean, we're not gonna be correct. We're not gonna
Absolutely.
be sneaky about this. None of us, I think. I don't know if any of you are good at lying. My character doesn't either. So, Mr. Baker, do you have any skill with fisticuffs or weaponry?
Um, fisticuffs or weaponry. I
So, fighting brawl or any of the guns, firearms are the skills there. Or if you have sword or something, that'd be great.
um no, I don't have fencing if that's what you're asking. But I have just above I have like 30 in brawl.
Oh, you're a
Uh,
better. You're a little better fighter than the rest of us, at least. So I'm just Mr.
Um,
Illingsworth. You're good with a spear, you told me, and a rifle. So
Yes.
perhaps it would not be out of place to have those items, even if we
Okay.
leave them outside the church somewhere. You could let Mr. Edgeworth take them.
Painter's tube, essentially.
Yeah, and just leave them at somewhere near the church. Somewhere like wherever they break into the room, just in case. You never know; it might come in handy. The whole neighborhood is part of this church. I'm certain.
Yes,
So
it certainly seemed like it the other day.
if
Yeah.
if you can break in and steal what needs to be stolen, oh heavens, it's so dishonest. Um, but stealing from thieves is not really stealing; it's recovery. Um,
Yeah. So the Bow Street Runners would do it. They'd get praised for it,
along
paid for
with
it.
oh my
him.
God, there's no real chance that we could recruit a few boys from a few men from there? Do you think? No, we don't want to involve these people because again, somebody decides, hey, I know rich people who did bad things. I could
Yeah, that's
blackmail
kind of a problem.
them. Right now, we've got a tight circle of conspirators here.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And the more people you bring in, the more
The
someone is likely to spill.
Unless it's the impossible chamber, they might be able to provide us with a man or two, and hopefully they're trustworthy. If they contact us, does this plan meet with everyone's approval? Does anyone have any other ideas on how to deal with the situation?
Yeah, I really don't see any other way to go about it. Um,
Sorry, guys, I'm a planner. My characters are always
no,
like,
yeah.
"Here's a plan. Let's
No,
do a
No, no,
plan."
absolutely.
it's a plan,
It's a plan. It's not a hard.
It's a
It's not a
plan.
real
So,
complicated plan either, which I
and
like.
it makes use of what you know.
Yes.
What he said he was going to do,
how
when he said he was going to do it.
people are joining me in breaking into a church?
Mr. Baker and Mr. Edgeworth will be in charge
Okay.
of breaking
Really.
into a
Mhm.
so-called church. Take everything you can get your hands on that looks
So,
too valuable to be owned.
so two of you were going to attend the service,
Me and
and two of
unless
you were going
Illingsworth
to handle
doesn't
the
want to.
burglary.
Yeah, I could go either way.
Which way do you want to go?
Oh,
I could go by myself to the service as well, and Illingsworth could join you two. It would give you a better chance if you run into someone. In addition, Mr. Illingsworth's weaponry, like Mr. Edgeworth's weaponry, I'm better with a rifle as well, but I can't hope to take one into a church service. So
um, I mean, I could even wait outside potentially if
you will be
need
very
be.
conspicuous in that neighborhood.
yeah, you
Okay.
will.
Even if you wear rags, they're not going to recognize you, I believe, and
Yeah.
people will talk.
Yeah,
So you
Um,
should
it's
either
true.
sneak into the neighborhood with Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Baker, probably from a different direction than we've been coming in down the street, because it's a dead end street that ends in the church, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which means
So
the back door of the church opens
yeah,
on a different street entirely.
I will attend this thing. Uh, but the three of you will have a better chance of if anyone is on guard.
Okay, so three
Okay.
of you then are going to handle the burglary, while
yeah.
I'm
Dr.
gonna go
Payne
in
can
the
actually
front.
openly attend the
I'll
service.
make some excuses for Mr. Illingsworth. He was busy, he couldn't make it. That's not a lie, that is the truth.
Or
Yep.
Or
or I
just
have
not make.
trepidations.
Or
Trepidations.
he just didn't want to.
Yeah,
Remember,
I'm not. If
Reverend
they
Brown
don't,
invited you.
if they don't
It's not
ask,
like he's going to get offended if you don't
yeah,
if you
if
don't
they
show
don't
up.
ask me directly, I don't have to say a word, and I won't. That's the
Exactly.
easiest way to deal with the
Now,
situation.
real life, it is 10 minutes to 11.
Yeah,
Do we
yeah.
want to break off here, or can we go a little past 11?
I mean, I can go a little past, but
It's up to everybody else. I'm fine either way.
I'm gonna go past 11.
I'm hoping for a
I
message from.
apologize. I've been so spacey tonight.
wow.
You're doing okay.
I can go past as well.
Okay.
Okay, then
Yeah, we can push on a little.
All right, so let's do that then.
Oh
So
no, it's
Friday,
gonna go crazy.
3 of you will enter the neighborhood basically around sundown, taking with you essentially a painter's tube with a pair of rifle muskets. These are hunting guns, right? So rifle muskets.
Yeah, flintlock rifles or whatever.
Screw it. Bring a
Yeah.
fowling piece too.
Flintlock.
Why
Well,
not?
the
That's
difference
a
is
little shotgun.
the rifle musket
Mhm.
is a hunting weapon. It has a grooved barrel called a
Right.
rifle that gives you more accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
Military muskets are smoothbore.
Right. What
They're
about
less accurate. The reason military muskets are smoothbore
Oh, fowling
is
pieces
because
suck.
rifles foul with black powder very, very quickly. With a rifle, you basically have to clean the barrel every 3 or 4 shots.
Oh.
With a smoothbore, you can get away with 10 or 12 shots before you have to clean it. So for the military, where all you care about is volume of fire, smoothbore. For a hunter, where deer don't stick around to fire back, accuracy.
Right.
So you can bring
In that
either
case,
type.
I'm going to
You've
go with
probably got
the
both.
smoothbore
Yeah.
flintlock musket.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say I'll do the same. I mean, I'm proficient with rifles for sure. So I mean,
Yeah.
or blunderbuss. So I mean, it's all the same thing as far as that is concerned.
Yeah, no, it's in terms of skill, it's the same thing. It's just a question of whether you value accuracy or reloadability.
Right. For this aspect, yeah, reloadability.
And then the smoothbore musket is your weapon of choice.
Yeah.
It's still the same reload.
In terms
the
of
rifle,
stats, it's the same thing. It just
yeah.
one you can fire a dozen times before you have to clean. The other you'll get greater accuracy, but you need to clean it more often. You're not shooting things at range, so the smoothbore is your better choice anyway. Because you're not likely to need to hit something at 100 yards or 200 yards.
Right.
The rifle musket's for hunting. You don't have to get close to an animal to kill it if you can hit it from 200 yards away.
Could I still put like a spear or something in like that painter's tube?
Oh yeah, why not?
Oh yeah, all right. Then I'll have one
Also,
in there, too.
also if you've got a military musket, you can also attach a bayonet,
Oh
Yeah, you can use your spear.
which
And
uses
use
the
use your spear. Yes.
yes.
The gun becomes a
a
spear.
spear, and you
Yeah,
can use your
once you
spear
fire
skill.
it.
I
Then
forgot about that. That's brilliant.
That's exactly what I would do then.
So much better.
Yeah, and military muskets generally come standard with the bayonet plug.
All right.
You can attach your bayonet, and now you basically fire the shot, and now you have a spear.
Right.
Okay. So the 3 of you make your way. Basically, you want to time this, so you
Yes.
enter Limehouse after dark.
Right.
On the one hand, entering Limehouse after dark is not the most pleasant of experiences.
But
People look at you funny.
That's also kind of why there's 3 of us too. So
Yeah. And it wouldn't hurt, honestly, if at least one of you has a pistol in your belt that's visible. Very much a case of, as people look at you like, hey, look, should we rob those guys?
Gotcha.
No, let's not.
Right.
Because most of the people you encounter on your way in,
I mean, I got that pistol earlier today, so and I got that.
They're looking for easy marks. They're not looking for a fight. They're looking for people they can rob.
Right.
If you look like you're armed and ready for a fight, they're going to let you go right on by.
Okay. So yeah,
they're for easy marks. So you're 3. You're visibly armed. Nobody is going to give you a hassle. And you get into position. Now, Dr. Payne, meantime, you will arrive at the church
right down the street
around sundown. Yep. People will notice you and greet you.
Hello. Giving money to the beggars again.
And when you arrive, you'll find the church is already crowded.
Oh dear.
The floor is already starting to fill up with people.
All right.
These are very much the poor. They look, their clothing is ragged. They clearly, they don't have access to things like a lot of personal hygiene. There's a lot of visible indicators of disease.
I think every time I've come to Limehouse, I've been wearing like more rugged clothing as far as like hunting, whatever I would wear to go actual like hunting with
Yeah,
the dogs. So just
not you don't.
FYI.
Yeah, you don't need fashionable clothing
No,
here.
no, definitely
You
not.
need more
And
practical clothing.
yeah.
Yeah. There's on the balcony level. There's about a dozen musicians armed with what appear to be hand-me-down instruments
Mm-hmm.
who are playing at the moment what's basically a jig.
Okay.
In other words, fast dancing music, and some people are dancing clearly for fun. In other
Oh,
words, the service hasn't started yet. Some people are dancing like you do when you're drunk. Some of them are also clearly drunk,
oh, how
and
nice. I'm very
bottles
sober.
are passing through the crowd. People will take a hit from a bottle and then
Mm-hmm.
pass it to whoever's next to them.
Gotcha. I'm gonna try to stay towards the back,
Easy to do as
southerly.
people are pressing more toward the front.
Yeah, I don't want. Yeah,
They want to get close.
and I'll nod and greet people that I recognize from the
Yep.
street, maybe that I helped earlier in
Yeah,
the week or whatever.
yeah, and you will notice several people that you recognize, and they're happy to see you.
Oh yes.
They're ecstatic, in fact, that you're willing to join them. They
Oh,
love the idea that you're here.
ah, that's terrifying. Okay.
And sure enough, at about 10 past 8, Reverend Brown will step up to the altar, greet the crowd, and launch into a speech. Which, how much do you know about religion?
Not much. The
You're welcome to
minimum
make a religion roll.
10%. Oh
Well,
boy.
you're welcome to have a go at it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
See
I'm
what
trying to
he's
pick
writing
up what
for.
he's putting down. No,
Yep.
54. Big old fail.
Um, at
It's
one point, he mentions he's quoting Jesus. He also references the Nephilim. He
I
references
recognize that.
God. He references gods. But most of it is makes little sense to you in that sense. Other than you get a sense of what he's doing from psychology. He's riling people up. He's pep rallying.
Okay.
He's building energy in the room, like a motivational speaker would.
Now they're supposed to move once it starts to get really loud in here, right? That was
Yeah.
the plan. Okay.
Now, the three of you who are out back, meantime, you will arrive at the back door, and let's see. I think Mr. Edgeworth has the lowest luck at the moment, so I call upon you to make a luck roll.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
I think your
Edgeworth.
luck is lowest.
Oh
It's
So we
no.
my
call
hate
upon whoever's
luck
luck is lowest to
spending.
make an edge
Hate
roll.
luck. Yeah, but it's a group luck check, basically.
See whether anyone's back here.
Hope you got your spear ready, Illingsworth.
72.
That's a
A
big
Okay.
old
fail.
fail.
Yeah. So here's the back door, and as you turn onto Hull Street, which is where the back door opens onto, you will notice that there is a man near the back door. So there is a doorkeeper. Not sure if the door is locked. So the door may be locked, or he may be a doorkeeper here to admit people who arrive this way. So he's either a guard or a doorman.
It's Cameron.
But there's definitely a man watching the door. You've never seen this man before. Good news, it's not Mr. Graves.
Oh, thank God. They'd know if
Yeah,
it was
no, it's just,
Graves.
yeah, he stands out. In other
Have I
words, you don't recognize this man.
have I seen
He
Graves in the church?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
This is an ordinary looking man. He's thin. He has pox scars on one side of his face. His coat is old and threadbare. In other words, he's a local.
Can I
I look to my
say,
companions. I assume we're all wearing like dark coats, like some kind of hat, and uh, we have at least something to obscure our faces.
Well, you've certainly got a hat. You wouldn't be well dressed without one.
It's a little warm from the
You can choose
snow.
a darker colored coat. No reason not to. You can bring with you something that you can put over your face if you wish. You don't want to do that
Yes,
until you arrive where you want to go. Because if you're walking the streets with a
and maybe
mask,
like a scarf or something.
yeah, scarf or part of your necktie that you can just pull up, bandito style, over your mouth and nose and
Hmm.
obscure most of your face.
yeah, yeah, um,
So this may be the point to do that.
right. I'm
That's what I'm
also
thinking.
Go ahead.
Should I try to throw something to distract him? Maybe.
That's possible. And
I'll like
theoretically,
just bring up.
theoretically you could also shoot him, but that would make a lot of noise, and
Yeah.
Right,
it's also murder.
right, right. I'm trying not to murder someone right
Throw a
now.
bunch of
Yeah.
money.
True too.
Why don't you? Okay, Illingsworth. Why don't you distract him, and then I'll take out my rifle and I'll threaten his life.
Well, if we can just simply get him to move away from the door, perhaps we could move inside. They wouldn't leave the door locked if they had a man next to it, would they?
That's hard to say, but it seems likely if there's a doorkeeper, the door is probably not locked.
That's my
unless
logical
he's
thinking.
a guard.
Yeah, that's my logical thinking. But
yeah, so if he's a guard, the door might be locked, and his job is to double security by guarding it. If he's a doorkeeper, the door is probably unlocked, and his job is to admit people who are allowed to come in.
Let's try your plan first to distract him, and then I will take out my rifle and just move around the corner, pressing up against the wall, looking over, just keeping an eye for like if something goes wrong.
Okay, so first attempt to distract him, and then if the distraction works, you could use stealth to move up close and threaten him.
Yes.
Okay, so first thing you want to do is a throw roll to land your distraction where you want to.
Yeah. And that's a success. It's a regular success.
What did you throw?
Right.
A rocker. Well, yeah. I'll throw a few like coins. We'll just say it's a couple pences or whatever. I'm sure that would get his attention. It doesn't have to be a lot of money.
Yeah, handful of pennies.
Yeah.
Throw a bunch of coins. And with the success, you land them where you want. He looks at them. He looks up the street, looks around. Where do we have our dice spot? Oh, there's the dice roller. Oh, wait, that's the Halloween games. I'm going to borrow the dice roller from Down Darker Trails.
That's fine. The Regency one is at the very bottom, as far as
is it?
groups. If you go all the way to the bottom, you're into the Regency.
Oh, dice roller. There it is. Okay.
But any one of them works.
That's okay. I can use this one then. It's working because how does he respond? Because he definitely heard it and you landed it. 77. That is not a success on an intelligence roll on his part. Which means he will go, he sees the money land, and instead of giving his first thought to where did that come from, he goes to pick it up.
Money!
This will, so if at this point, if Mr. Edgeworth is advancing, you can make a stealth roll with advantage to move up close to it.
Go, Edgeworth.
So you basically get your gun, holding it, up like this against your body, and move quickly on the edge of the street. And if you do this right, you'll be in a position to basically confront him at the door. Because he'll walk away from the door to collect the money, and then he'll come right back.
Yes. Okay. I'll make that roll.
Yep.
I'm going to spend 2 points of luck to turn that 47 into a 45, which is a success.
Okay, so you'll be able to confront him at the door. What's Mr. Baker's role in all of this?
Damn. Okay. So one person's was to distract, and then
one moved up.
Then one moved up to negotiate.
Or threaten. Or
negotiate.
Father.
What a great way to put it.
Negotiate.
Could be a negotiation. Probably not.
You want to live?
That's the negotiation. I'll make you a deal. You get to live if you step out of the way.
That sounds like intimidation.
Yeah, but let's find out what Mr. Baker's doing first.
Is anyone keeping watch?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. If I'm going to keep a lookout to where the party is at, like.
Okay, so a spot hidden roll then. And this will mean if you've done this correctly, you will make your move and your distraction at a time when the street is empty.
All right, spot hidden.
Hull Street is one of these narrow, twisting London streets that does get empty at this hour sometimes. Not
That
for long.
is. Ooh. I rolled a 9.
Oh, yeah.
That should be
So, no problem. No one will trouble you during this process. So, distraction, street empty, 1.
Hard
Distraction, 2. Advance, 3. And when the doorman or guard, whoever he is, turns around, there's Mr. Edgeworth with a musket. So, what do you do? At this point, you either need to intimidate him, or clobber him, or something else like that. In other words, he turns around to resume his position, and there's you.
Yeah, I've snuck up behind him. I've got the rifle. Would it be a roll to knock him out? Or am I just in a good enough position to just...
It'd be a brawling move to hit him.
Yeah, you can't just knock somebody out. You have to beat his ass down until he has 0.
This is a great case. This is a great case of the rule of 75. If you had 75 or greater in brawl, you could just knock him out.
He doesn't,
because he's unaware of your presence until you attack. So you could attack by surprise.
All right. In that case, I will walk in behind him. I point the rifle at him, and I will say, lucky night, I suppose. Would you like to have your luck continue?
And he sees you've got a musket pointing his way and does one of these, hands. Take it easy now, bloke.
Hands full of money.
I don't have much.
Do I have to tell you to remain silent? Or are you a clever gentleman? Wonderful.
You should make an intimidate roll, by the way, with advantage. Obviously.
Thank you.
You have a gun, he doesn't.
45 or lower. Wish me luck.
You got a better chance than me.
What'd you do?
With a bonus, so you can roll the 10s die again.
Yeah, don't forget your bonus die.
If the first throw didn't work, roll the 10s die again.
I rolled with the bonus die, and I got a 60 and a 70.
Oh, okay. Man, that's a lot.
So, you've got him doing like, okay, yes, I'm smart about this. But he's also looking at the door and his chances and you. Like he's clearly plotting a move. On the other hand, there's also 2 others of you who could also do something.
Can I start moving up towards the door?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I want to start moving up to the door, and I want to check the door.
Well, this confrontation is taking place in front of the door. So you can't get to the door without being seen by.
I thought he moved off to go get the money.
He went to get the money, and Mr. Edgeworth confronted him before he returned to the door.
Right.
So Mr. Edgeworth is controlling the door, but this man can see the door.
Okay. Well, then I'll just move up.
If he looks past Edgeworth, which he can, obviously.
I'll just move up behind Edgeworth.
Now
we have our faces covered. Yes.
Yeah. Now you could move up behind Edgeworth and have 2 guns pointed his way. You could also circle around behind him and launch a sneak attack. Because he's focused, while he's scared, he's still functional. He's also focused on the man pointing a weapon at him.
Yeah, my failure means that he's about to make a move, and we need to react to that before he does.
Yeah, I'm just going to move up.
He's clearly scared. The point is he's still acting.
I'm going to move up next to Mr. Edgeworth.
And point your weapon at him as well?
Yeah.
You're also welcome to make an intimidate roll with advantage if you wish.
Okay.
Now there's 2 of you, because that changes the math. If there's one man, he might grab the gun.
I can't roll any better. I rolled an 02. So
that will turn it, because now he was calculating the possibility of grabbing Edgeworth's gun by moving forward rapidly, and then when he realizes there's 2 of you, the math changes completely. There's no way he can overcome both of you.
And can I just want to say briefly the key. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I figured
He, reach,
the less
he
I
reaches
say, the
into his
better.
waistcoat pocket and and takes out a key. Where is Mr. Baker at this point?
Mr. Baker has been keeping an eye out, looking down the hallway.
Street's still empty. Although you
And
do see shadows moving at one end where Hull meets Allison. So someone is going to be here in probably 20 to 30 seconds. You want to be off the street.
That's like 5 rounds, yeah.
Before that happens. Here's two guys pointing a gun at somebody. This looks a hell of a lot like an armed robbery right now. So if a bunch of people come around the corner, they might shout for help if they see that. So either you need to wrap this up quickly or keep them from rounding the corner.
Say we take him.
Well, I was just a thought comes to mind, but it will rapidly change how you think of me.
Okay.
Mr. Baker quickly leaves his post and joins the two gunmen.
Okay.
And I whisper in each of your ears, we have 30 seconds at best. We got to wrap this up.
Okay. And
In
he
that
was handing
case,
over a
I'm
key
going to.
as you were doing that. And you'll notice that when you move up to talk to speak to them quietly, that the man takes a key from his waistcoat pocket. Also, Mr. Illingsworth, you'll notice when he takes the key from his waistcoat pocket, you'll also notice he has a knife.
In his pocket, though, right?
It's in a sheath on his belt.
Okay.
So he had his coat closed, but he has a knife ready for use. So he is a guard. Notice the door was locked. He has the key. He's armed. Except he has a knife and you have 2 guns. He brought a knife to a gunfight.
In that case,
Whoops.
I say we open the door, take him into the building, and then figure out a way to restrain him inside, but while we're no longer in view of the person coming around the corner.
That'll work. So move him inside.
Yeah.
And move all of you inside and lock the door behind you again or leave it open.
Say lock it.
I say lock it.
Okay. You got the key. Easy to do. So you're now inside. You know which door is the office. What to do with this man.
Who has the key, by the way, gentlemen? You can't carry it in concerts. Somebody has to have it in their pocket.
That's a good question.
Baker
is
the only one who doesn't have a gun at the moment.
Because Illingsworth is the one who asked for it. But Baker is the only one who's not handling a two-handed weapon.
Right.
So Baker will probably take the key. And probably the crowbar.
Can I
get what we came for? I'll watch him.
Can I try to take the knife from the guard while I get the key from him?
Bill, he gave the key to Illingsworth. You've got that already. You can take his knife as long as he's still covered by 2 men with guns. Critical intimidate roll is going to ride for a bit, so won't resist when you take his knife.
I will take his knife.
Right, and I'll just hold up the key like I got him. Get what we came for.
Okay, so you're basically going to stand guard over the guard.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Now, meantime, back in the service. So the speech, once the speech ends, then the musicians begin to do their thing. Now faster and louder, and people begin to dance more rapidly now.
I have a question. Is there anything flammable in this area? Is there any straw or or cloth
Now,
or anything.
remember how
Okay.
remember
Okay.
how much they swept the floor?
Yeah, they clean up the place. I
Yeah,
glance around to see if I can see anything that might be easy to light on fire.
yeah, not really.
Okay. Sorry to
Uh,
interrupt. Keep going.
that's okay. People are dancing.
Mm-hmm.
People are shouting. When he described it as like a shaker service, he wasn't really that far off. And there on the in front of the altar, Reverend Brown now begins singing
Mm-hmm.
in a language you do not recognize.
Is he facing the crowd or is he facing the altar?
He's facing the crowd.
Okay.
And for those near the front, some of them now begin to sing in the same language.
Oh no. Okay.
And there's Mr. Graves.
Oh
He
God.
emerges from the vestibule holding what appears to be a horn,
Okay.
which he begins blowing.
Like what kind of like a brass instrument or like a
No, like a
curved
horn, more like almost closest. The closest thing almost is a shofar, like a ram's horn.
ram's horn? Okay.
The kind used the shofar is used in some Jewish rituals. It's essentially a ram's horn.
Okay.
It makes a loud noise. It said, "Hey, look, everybody, look at me! I'm making a loud noise."
So, but it's just one note over and over, or
Yeah,
does he?
it
Okay.
just he just makes one loud noise on it.
Okay.
It's not. Don't think of it as a musical instrument. Think of it as an alarm horn,
Okay.
the kind of thing that you
Hmm.
use to be loud.
Oh.
And of course, even over the people singing, you can hear him blowing on the horn. The musicians haven't stopped. They're continuing to play what I'm guessing is some kind of jig, as if they're not like this is becoming a bit of Dada, where the musicians in the gallery are doing one thing, the guy with the horn
Yeah.
is doing another
Yeah.
thing, and the
And people
singers are
are
doing a
singing.
third thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
And
Any
then
sanity loss yet?
this is where you should make a sanity roll.
All right. Oh, I never got any letters or anything from the Impossible Chamber, huh?
Not before Friday.
Yeah. They only had one day, so all right.
Yeah. Unless they sent somebody here and didn't tell you.
Ooh. Oh two. Oh, son of a bitch! It was cocked. 82 is a fail.
Yeah, that's not great.
I know. I thought it was an O2, and then I moved this little thing, and it went no.
O2 would have been very good.
Ah, I know.
Whoops, that did not work.
It's 20 points off.
Well, we'll find out in a moment.
Yeah.
6, actually.
6 sanity?
Yep.
Jesus. Okay.
Uh,
So that's going to be a potential for a bout of madness, right?
yes. Because what's happening here is as the sound
Is that
rises, and now you guys, by the way, who are doing the thing in the other room, you can hear the
Yay.
horn singing,
Yes.
the
86.
screaming.
That's over my intelligence. I don't
Oh,
make
yeah.
the connection. I don't go nuts for now.
Good.
Oh, okay,
You
that's
can hear all the noise because where you are in the church itself, mist begins gathering around the upper level of the church, and then a sound that just rips at your nerves. It's glass moving, glass grinding on glass, and everybody looks up. You too,
yeah. I look up.
as the rose window slides aside. It's not designed to do that.
It's the first I ever noticed that window, by the way. So, oh, there's a window. Oh,
Yeah, well, it's a it's a classic part of church architecture.
now is this in the front of the church, like to the outside of the church, or is
The
this like
yeah, the rose window is faces forward. It's above the entry doors,
is
so
there
it's
a balcony over
mhm.
the entry doors?
The balcony does not cover that part. The balcony
Okay,
is on
okay,
both
okay,
sides.
okay. It's on either
And
side.
notice
Okay, okay.
Brown is facing his audience, which means he's facing the rose window. As
Okay.
everybody turns, and there's the thing.
Do I need to make another sanity check again?
No, that's what the sanity check was for.
Oh, okay,
Because
okay.
if that's a Shantok, that's what it looks like up close.
So we got three
Because what it's
legs, got
doing is it is
wings.
sliding. It moves the window, which is not a thing that's designed to do, and then replaces it, and it floats above the assembled crowd. There's the three
Okay.
stumpy legs
Yeah.
and the wings and the trunk like appendage, and
Yeah.
it floats above the crowd, reaching down with the trunk like appendage, and people reach their hands up to touch it.
Oh dear. Okay.
Like people are giving it high fives as it moves above the crowd. People are. It's very much. You ever seen worshippers? Kind of raising their hands, like raising the roof, kind of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People are
It's
doing
like that.
that,
And
apparently
touching it.
hoping that the thing will touch them.
Oh, dear.
And some of them who are touched actually fall down on the ground
Hmm.
and either appear to be dead or are writhing in ecstasy.
So some of them are laying still, completely still,
Yeah,
when they fall
like
to the
like
ground.
they've suddenly died. Whereas others are looking like,
Yeah.
honestly, a couple of them are looking like they're having orgasms.
Yeah. They're. Yeah. 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 Okay.
They're
Are they?
writhing around on the
Are they
floor. They're
shrieking and
moaning. They're
are they
shouting.
speaking in tongues
They're
now and stuff
shrieking.
like that?
Um, Other than the singing, that you haven't heard, but they were singing in a language you didn't recognize,
Right. 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 Okay.
and many of them still are.
Oh God.
Do you
Okay.
reach up?
No. No, I do not. I'm in the back trying to shrink into the wall. Basically, I'm back against the wall, or maybe even to the doors. I'm back against the main doors. Was this
Okay,
this had a
so
weird little door and a big door, right?
yeah, it's the off-center doors that many older
So
churches have.
I might even be in between those two doors, and
Okay,
and
and
hoping it doesn't take any notice of me. Maybe I'll do kind of like this, like I want to hold my hand out if people are starting to look at me or anything weird like that. But I'm a little out of my mind. I've lost six sanity. I'm very disturbed by this, and
it
uh,
and it floats across the crowd
it's oh
to
god,
where Reverend Brown is.
oh thank God it didn't come my
He reaches up his hand,
way. Hmm.
and it reaches down that appendage, and the two of them make contact. And Brown's body jumps and writhes like he's been electrocuted,
Hmm.
and his eyes are wilder than ever. And he shouts over everything, "You see, you all see, the day is coming. The visitor is coming. Their herald is here. The visitor is coming." And now the crowd begins picking it up. The visitor is coming. The visitor is coming.
I'll pick it up.
Those of you in the back, by the way, now get to make a sanity roll as well.
Where's Graves?
Fortunately, it won't be as bad. He is still blowing his horn,
Okay, great. That's lots of noise. I hope you guys are moving on this noise.
and then he actually puts the horn down, or I should say, takes it from his face and raises his hands to touch the creature as well.
Does he have the spasms and stuff and
No,
the
he just raises his hands
ex?
up and touches it,
Oh,
and when he's done, he just seems satisfied.
did he touch
Like,
a
that worked.
tentacle, or did he just touch like the
It's the
side?
only thing. The only thing it's extending is
Okay,
that
okay,
forward-looking
okay, okay.
trunk tentacle thing. Whoop, we lost somebody.
We lost Graham.
Graham, where are you? Well, of course, that's a silly question. He's not here.
Yeah, he's been kind of coming and going, popping out, popping back in. So I don't know what's going on.
Must be something with his internet.
Did
Well,
Did you
anyways,
say we had to
you'll want to
roll
make
a
a sanity roll as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I failed mine.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
if only photographs were. We had photographic stuff.
If you fail, you'll lose 3.
All right.
I don't.
Success
Where
will
the
cost you nothing
fuck is Graham?
because you can hear, even though you're not sure you should,
There he is.
you can hear the
Whoa.
visitor is coming. In
Right.
other words,
And
the whole
it's
church
disturbing.
reverberating. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Did you do a sanity roll, Graham?
Graham. Now that you're back, glad you're back. You want to make a sanity roll.
Lovely. I don't have my sheet at the moment because my computer crashed. Give me a.
Okay.
Okay.
Definitely a fail though with an 80.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Failure will cost you 3 points.
Cool.
And for that matter, those of you who fail also a growing awareness and dread. The visitor is coming.
Right.
But that's not the only reason for the sanity roll. Because you enter the office, prying the door open, no problem.
Was it locked?
Illingsworth is keeping an eye on the guard. So
Mhm.
it's the two of you, it's Baker and Edgeworth who enter the office. The two of you pry the door open with the crowbar. There's the office exactly where Hannah said it would be. And the tablet is easy to find. It's sitting on a mini easel on his desk. There's a candle right next to it. And scattered in front of it are his notes. He was, in fact, translating it. And this is what you came for, so I'm guessing the two of you are grabbing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want the notes as well.
I would snatch up the notes, but quickly I would compare the glyphs given to us by the good doctor to make sure that we have the actual tablet.
This seems to be correct.
Okay.
And here's the. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I would give it to Mr. Baker for safekeeping. I'll take the notes.
Okay. So you grab the notes, and as you grab the tablet, the chanting. The visitors are coming. The visitors are coming. And when you grab the tablet, here's the other reason for the sanity loss. The chanting stops. Dead stop. Right in the middle of a line.
I can sense that we have it.
Somebody out there. Oh, yeah. This is probably the time to get the fuck out of here.
Time to start running.
Yeah, time to start running.
Start booking.
This is the running part of this operation. So, who has the key to the back door?
I do.
You should make yourself a dex roll.
Oh,
This you're going to need to get that. You get the key. You know how difficult it can be to get a key to work when you're panicked.
You guys are the worst burglars ever.
I was thinking about leaving the door unlocked, but
just terrible.
Yeah, if you left the door unlocked, this wouldn't be a problem.
Just jump out the fucking window.
Regular success.
That'll do. Yeah, if they were thinking, they might have done that too, but that's the point. Not burglars. Professional burglars would have done this better, but the point is they're not.
Right.
In any case, your fingers fumble just a tad as you get the door open and out into the streets. You're the first one out, so you're the one to make the luck roll.
Ooh, I'm so
glad. Is there anyone in the street?
It's not Edgeworth.
Yeah.
Ooh, no. And
don't.
What's that?
83 does not get me any less.
Yeah, so as you burst out the back door, Hull Street is occupied. On the one hand, half a dozen young men in fashionable clothing who are clearly here to visit houses of prostitution. Over there, a group of locals. And everybody is looking at you because here's you bursting out with a musket in hand.
The whores are in here, boys.
Followed, of course, by the other two right fast. Oh, no. What's your next move?
What is our next move?
You can't discuss it. You have to just decide. You
tell me,
and then
you're the first one out. Go, do something.
Okay, so...
Because people are looking at you like you just came bursting out, followed by two visibly armed men. And I believe you're still holding a crowbar.
I mean, I know what I want to do.
Okay. So you push past. What are you doing?
I start screaming and running, visibly armed with a musket, away.
Okay, so you're playing the role of crazy person, like crazy screaming man is running away, let him run away.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. That will get the people who are watching they're going to probably call for help in a moment. But in the meantime, it's unlikely any of them are going to pursue you because you appear to be crazy and are visibly armed. So let's let the crazy guy alone. He is somebody else's problem.
And I'm just running it. I'm just going to run after him, but I'm not going to say a thing.
Okay. And Mr. Baker, let the other two pass as he's standing by the door.
I yell halt in the name of the law, and then follow after them.
Okay, you should make another luck roll.
Or persuade?
No.
Okay.
Because he doesn't want people to actually think he's a law enforcement officer and follow him.
That's why I'm saying, okay.
10.
Okay, because when you yell that, the normal reaction of some people would be to join the chase.
Yes, it's like the hue and the cry, dude.
Yeah.
There's no organized
So
police right now except for the Bow Street Runners. So
exactly. So what you want is that luck roll is the other like, you know what? It's not my problem.
walking over here.
I'm just going to keep going about my night. And so you're yelling like you're a law enforcement officer and running after a crazy guy and silent guy. And the party goers watch you go, and you can see them look at each other like, not my problem, not my problem.
God, I hope those guys don't stay too long.
And the locals doing this sort of like, should we do something about that? Who were those guys? I don't know, didn't recognize them. By the time they've decided among themselves what they ought to do, you're already around the corner. So it takes them a few seconds to decide what to do. And you've already routed the corner on Alice and are now moving the fuck out of this neighborhood.
Good shit, Josh.
Do I
Okay.
hear any of the yelling from back there in the total
Oh,
silence of the
God, no.
church? Okay.
Oh, wait. After the silence, you
The
might. A listen
silence,
roll.
and then okay. Yeah.
Because it's coming from the other side of a
I know.
building,
Do you want me to have
but it
a
is
penalty
dead
die?
silent in here.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
Do you want a penalty die on that?
No,
Okay, just regular
because
listen.
because one of them is yelling as loud as he can.
25. I'm 5 off, so I don't hear it.
You heard a noise from behind the
Yeah,
church. Can't make
something's
sense
going
of what
on
it is.
back there.
It's maybe somebody screamed,
Oh
or maybe it's
no.
it could be it could be in the office area. It could be behind.
Yeah,
It could
maybe
be
they got caught.
behind the altar. Somebody screamed something.
Just it was like yelling words though. It wasn't like
Yeah.
or anything
Oh
like
no,
that.
it's kind of more like that.
Rah, 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 is what I
Yeah.
hear.
No,
Okay.
more like that. Like it didn't sound like words. Besides, even if you wanted to do something, you're as far from that part of the
I
church as
know,
you
I
can
know. I'd
get.
have to go out the door and then all the way around the church to get to them. So,
This is
um,
true.
that thing's still hanging in the air over the church in dead silence in here now.
Oh yeah. And in the dead silence,
They
you
all
can
point at
actually
me.
hear something coming from it.
Oh God, what is it? Do I need
It's
another
making a noise.
sanity check?
Wait, is it speaking?
Is it?
Yeah.
What is it saying? Is it English or some like gobbledygook?
It's it's making sounds that one assumes might be words because they have a cadence like that. Like it's a
Could
cadence more like
talk.
words than like an animal's cry.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
that's confirmed when Reverend Brown answers it
In the same kind of
in the same
gobbledygook.
language.
Do I need
Yeah.
another sanity check?
You've already blown 6 points, so no.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, you're out. You're out. I mean, you're already. This is already same close encounter with it.
Okay.
But the fact that you've now confirmed that it speaks.
Yeah, it's intelligent. It's smart as a person.
So if Cameron and Collins thought they could control it, they're half right. In other words, they can't control it, but they might negotiate with it
Yeah. Don't like that at all.
because it spoke and Brown responded. Like he clearly understood what it said and responded in whatever language it's speaking.
What happens after they chit chat for
And
a couple seconds?
then it rises itself up. So it basically hovers near the roof for a moment. And someone taps you on the shoulder.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's one of the people you saw. Oh, actually, wait, that's Liza.
Oh, yes. Hello. Isn't this wonderful?
And she points up like, you see?
Yes.
You see what the Reverend meant?
I see. I see. I
He
very much
did what he
see.
said. He did.
I'm nodding at her, trying not to lose my shit in front of her.
She's thrilled with this.
Oh, bless her heart. Is there a lot of crazy in her eyes? Like a lot of crazy in her eyes that I notice now? Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
she's devoted
So
to.
how many sanity points do you have?
I'm down to 59. Because
So I suspect you have 59 more sanity points than the entire collective crowd here.
Oh, okay. Everybody's completely nuts, I think.
These are cultists.
Yeah. Well,
By
I don't have.
definition, you become a cultist when you
It's
hit 0 from
confirmation
seeing this thing week after week
that they have all lost their
voluntarily.
collective. All right. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
want to draw any attention to myself. What's it
Well, let me
doing up
rephrase
there?
that. Some of these people may have some left. Some of them are
Okay.
clearly 0.
But
Some of them are on their way in that direction.
yeah. Yeah. What's it
And
doing
it's
up
hard to tell
there?
which is with.
Yeah.
For the moment, it does nothing except observe the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And then it moves toward the window.
Back
And
to the
you're going to
window.
want to sort of probably cover your ears next.
Is it gonna?
because it moves. It goes through the window in that same way, as if it can take the glass out and then put it back.
And there's a lot of noise. Yeah, I cover my ears if the noise starts to get
The
unbearable.
well, the noise of glass on glass.
Okay, yeah, I'll cover my
You
ears.
know, that's an
This
awful
is
sound,
awful.
grinding glass.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when it's passed through, the rose window is completely undamaged.
Does anybody else cover their ears?
No, they don't seem to mind.
Nobody. Oh
Wait,
boy.
no, I take that back. A few people do.
Okay, they're like, ooh, ooh,
In other words, you can probably tell who were the ones who were on the way and who were the ones who were already at zero.
completely gone. Liza's
The ones
gone,
who are
right?
already at zero. What's that?
Liza's.
Liza is no, she's not completely gone.
She covers her
She's
ears. She doesn't
clearly
like that
she
noise.
doesn't cover her ears, but she's clearly upset by the noise. Like she's like very much the attitude of, oh, I hate this part. Like I'm enjoying the night, except I hate this part.
Okay, okay,
And it does that. Oh, I hate when it does that. Okay, everything else is great,
okay.
and it's gone.
So
So,
as we're fleeing, I want to try to like make sure we like try to do some loops and not
Okay.
be inconsistent with our route for the most part. And
This will take an education roll.
okay,
How well do you actually know the city of London?
okay.
Because the thing
I,
is, there's a
I'm
lot of
okay.
narrow
I'm okay
streets and
with an
loops.
education roll.
yeah.
There's also dead ends.
I rolled a hard success.
Okay, so you will avoid. You know which neighbor streets here end in dead ends.
Okay,
Because there's a number of streets in this neighborhood that, if you like, I'm gonna take that. That's a narrow street. I'm gonna take that. That's a dead end.
Yeah.
gotcha.
So that's
Did
what where
did I see
that's okay. I
anybody?
remember the map. I remember growing up here. I know which streets are which. Like Pleister Close, don't take that. What's that close? Don't take that. That's a dead end.
Right.
Did I?
Leicester Road, take that, not Leicester Close.
Did anybody leave the chamber that
No,
I noticed after everybody went dead silent?
no.
But then there's
And
dead
once
silence, and then like this yelling from the back, and then the thing spoke, and then the
and once it
pastor spoke, and then
leaves,
it flew up and left.
yeah, once it leaves, there's an awkward moment of silence, and then the normal flow of conversation begins. You
Okay.
know how people in a quiet room turn to their neighbor and start talking,
Yeah.
and now people are there's the hubbub now of conversation, and
Okay.
then Reverend Brown calls for quiet, offers an invocation, part of which is delivered in English, part of which isn't, and then reminds everyone the day is coming. Peace and joy be with you all. And the
Oh,
crowd responds, peace and
And
joy
all.
also
Yeah.
be with you.
Ah,
And then
jeez.
he says something in a language you don't understand.
And
It's
I
one word.
forget
The
everything.
crowd responds in the same with the same word.
Can I? It's just one word. Can I try to? Can I get that word in my head?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, it's essentially like you ever seen people in some American places end like a function with like namaste?
Yeah. Something like that.
Similar
Okay.
principle. Like it's a word in a foreign language that clearly functions as an amen or a
Right.
namaste, or because it's he says it to the crowd. The crowd responds by saying it back to him, and then the service is over.
Okay.
So clearly that was the amen or namaste or whatever, whatever you say when it's over.
Right.
And now a normal hub of conversation begins. Some people begin leaving. Uh, Others are lining up near one end of the church. And that seems weird until you realize that some church people are putting out lines of food.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
So they're lining up to receive a share of food.
Hmm.
So those who are
mm,
hungry are gonna eat.
Gotcha.
So the service is over.
Right. I
Like
wait
those
around for a few minutes just to
okay.
see if Reverend Brown approaches me after the service at all. If he
If you want.
just a few minutes, if he approaches me, that's if he
Uh,
doesn't, then at a certain juncture, maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, then I'll just make my way out of the church.
well, we're going to make him a
I mean,
spot hidden roll to
I'm
see if he notices you.
obviously shaken. Oh, that's right. He didn't know for sure I was going to be here. Come on, fail,
Uh,
fail, fail.
he did not see you.
Oh, thank God. Okay, So when he's going around talking to people and he's not heading my way,
Yeah,
and
because that's Have you ever been at the end of a religious service where the minister begins
he's
shaking
going
hands with
around,
people
yeah,
and talking
yeah.
to people? He's doing that.
What's Graves doing? Is he still here?
Graves is still standing by the altar.
Uh huh.
He's put the horn he was using down on the altar,
Mm.
and he now puts his hands on the rail and is watching the crowd from up there.
Oh, okay. I will make my exit.
Okay.
Hopefully under he doesn't see me.
Well, a number of people are leaving, so it's easy for you to just join a crowd of
That's
those
what I
leaving.
want. And
And incidentally, many of them leaving go no farther than the nearest tap room.
yeah. I will head
Church
out.
is over. Time to drink.
Yes, I am going to get the hell out of this neighborhood. If
Okay.
anybody tries to accost me, I will pull my gun out. Like
Yeah, no,
blatantly pull the gun out and point it at them.
nobody,
Okay.
nobody will trouble you.
Okay.
So that's Friday night. I think as it's about 20 to midnight, we will wrap things up there. So now we know what the thing is. And one more thing, Professor Blythe can confirm that you have the correct tablet.
Huzzah!
Smash it with a
And
hammer.
No.
and he is, once he's had a chance to give it more of a look, he's more convinced than ever that the tablet contains a spell.
What about the
Which he is.
notes? How close does he think Preacher Man was to deciphering this into something? Oh, what's this word mean? Balaba, or whatever they were saying at the end.
Well,
And
he thinks
is
he's
it
about
Babylonian?
he thinks he's about 2/3 of the way there. And that final word, he doesn't recognize it.
Okay. Okay.
If the Shantok spoke,
Why is there spinning
his guess is the last word, what they exchanged as a greeting at the end, is probably in whatever language it was speaking.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna info dump.
So that's not even a
everything I
human
saw.
language.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we'll wrap things up there.
The fuck.
Excellent.
Well done.
Was there anything else in his office?
Don't think
I'm
you had
asking.
time to have much of a look
I'm
around.
asking them. You should have just taken
We-
everything. Just grab the desk and just go.
We didn't get time.
You got whatever papers were on the desk and the tablet itself.
Yeah.
So upside, he can't finish learning whatever spell is on the tablet.
Unless he steals it again. So he did steal it.
That's now we know that for a fact. We don't know which of his boys did it,
Yeah.
but the thief was one of his men.
Is there anything legally we could do? Well, we broke into the church. I guess if we were both street runners, we could arrest people.
That guard could probably point us out.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
never
gotta-
mind then. I was hoping to somehow get this guy arrested. That might help us somewhat.
I had a thought about killing the guard, but I wasn't sure if you were into it, so I didn't.
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
And that would have made it even harder to get anybody else arrested.
Why didn't you guys just bribe the guy?
We had
Take
our
his
faces
knife and
covered.
put a 10-pound note in its place.
I thought about
That
that.
probably would have
I
shut
did
him
He's
up
a,
for
he's
that.
a cultist. He's gonna be like,
Is he,
no,
though?
but
He might not be a
Yeah.
totally crazy cultist. He did not just rush two guns, which
Yeah,
if
no,
he
no.
was
He
really
was, he's one of those guys who's on his way, not all the way
right.
at
If
zero.
he was crazy, he would have been like, "You can't go in there," and he would have just thrown his life away to stop you guys.
Maybe. In any case, he clearly didn't.
You could have possibly bribed him. Always keep bribing in mind. We're rich.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
always have potential if they're
No,
not totally gone.
True.
I thought about giving him some money as we were leaving, and be like, "You can keep this quiet, right?" And just like a shilling or something.
They're probably
Like-
going to kill that guy. Wait, you guys just ran out and just left him in the back hall, didn't you?
Yeah, we left him tied up.
Oh, was he tied up? I never heard anybody say they tied him up.
Oh, I never said I tied him up. I was just watching him.
Did you guys even have any rope?
No.
No. They just one guy just kept an eye on him.
You just busted out of the place. I'm surprised he didn't come into the church to go, we got robbed or something. Maybe he left too because he failed and he doesn't want to die.
Don't know.
Probably.
All right. Well,
He got,
have a
like,
great
my
night,
whole-
everybody.
Well, hold on.
Yeah,
Let's figure out our next
Good game.
Oh.
meeting. That's why I grabbed the phone, so I can grab my calendar.
It'd be
The 5th of February?
Fifth.
Discovery 5. I can do that.
5th of February.
8 o'clock,
can do
okay?
that as well.
Is 8 o'clock work for everybody?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's fine by me.
Okay,
All right.
it's written
It
down.
is in the calendar.
5th
Oh
of
man,
February.
2 games a week is gonna kill me.
Oh,
I got to run
I
Fairjet
might
again that week, so
conflict on the
Oh,
5th.
you did? Okay.
that's that week too on the 4th.
Sorry, Josh.
oh,
What are you saying?
I might have a conflict on the 4th.
The 5th. It's
On
the
on the
5th.
on the 5th. I mean, on